Welcome back. It is that time. This is Wild and Weird Radio Live. And tonight we have a special episode. We'll be going beyond the horizon. But before all that fun stuff, this is going to be the first hour, the podcast. So you guys who are out there listening in listener land, be sure to tune in over here on our YouTube at Wild and Weird WV over on YouTube, so you can join the conversation every Thursday at 8, right, Joe?
Yeah, we have a great time here every week. You guys are really missing out. Those of you who haven't jumped over, I know it's tough sometimes because a lot of you guys who listen to us, y'all are night shifters, and because we can see the metrics as I'm looking through the audio downloads and everything. A lot of you guys are night shifters and listening to us when you drive, and we definitely don't want you watching a video while you drive. So once you get home or get settled in, it's worth the jump over to YouTube to catch some extra content. Yep. You definitely won't regret it. There's tons of stuff going on over here all the time between Wild and Weird Radio Live, us posting up random videos here and there about where we're at, and then there's investigation videos you can go back and peruse your way through, and it's fun, and you can enjoy it with your eyes and your ears.
And what's great about it now is after each one of these new episodes drops, we're going to come back on here the very next Thursday from that, which I understand next time will be one day after, which will be great. And we are going to be going over some extra data, answering a lot of your questions and addressing some of the key elements of those particular episodes. So it's going to be a lot of more interaction. That's what this thing was always made for, was for a lot more interaction. Speaking of interaction, Joseph, why don't you roll the roster? Thank these wonderful people who support this show and welcome everybody in to the this Thursday.
Well, just as usual, every week I always give you guys a shout out and run you down. And I'm just giving the courtesy to the audio folks who can't see this stuff. We've got Jay. He's out there hanging out. What's going on, brother? Then we got Julie Bug. She's in the chat. Lisa's here. Larry Hose is here as usual. LW Marshall. LW, I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you. You are awesome. Beyond everything you do for the show, you are just a tremendous human being. And again, I love you, man. Thanks, bud. Donna Ho, what's going on, Donna? Then we've got Miss Trackway in the house, hopefully finding the trackways here and hasn't dislocated or broken anything this week. Terry McCullough's in the house hanging out. Teresa's Haunted History of the Tri-State is hanging out with us as well. Angie is in the house. I understand you and Teresa took a little adventure this past weekend. I can't wait to hear about some of that. We've got the Fob Daddy hanging out here with us. Tony Breeden's in the house. Linda Sigmund, what's going on? Scott D-Troll, you actually made it on time. Look at you. Look at you. I don't have to like stab now. You made it. I'm so proud. LR is in the house. What's going on, LR? Oz in the Woods is here. We've also got Jen in the house. What is up? Dark Wolf is here. What is going on, Dark Wolf? Good to see you back. Hey, there's Fighting the Trackway. You are alive. Oh, no, wait. This is Trackway's Life Model Decoys, the LMD of Trackway. Fish Belly's in the house. What's going on, Fish? Good to see you tonight, man. Wendy the Pooh Bear, what is up? Good to see you. Scott Holbrook's in the house as well. How are you doing, man? Then let's see. Who else? Oh, there's Octopus. Hey. I accidentally put somebody in timeout just now. I'm so sorry.
Oh, my gosh. You're a terrible person.
Yeah, I was just trying to click away, and it kicked the timeout thing. And
I mean, sometimes we have to do the drills,
Away.
Sometimes we got to do the drills to make sure we can hit the button when we have to. So it's okay. Just bear with it.
Oh, man. Jay says, see, Scott, you make it on time. You don't need to get shanked. That's right.
I am trying to set up this live over on Instagram again for you guys.
It was Angie. I accidentally kicked Angie. I got to figure. Angie, I'm so sorry.
My God.
I got to figure out a way to undo that here in a bit. Luckily, Tony's in the same room, most likely. Oh, man. Anyway, this show is kept free and brought to you by all the folks out there that support the channel and help out by, donations and sending in super chats and all that thing. Because without you guys, we wouldn't be able to do everything that we pull off week in and week out. That is the executive producers, Adam Good, L.W. Marshall, Teresa's Haunted History of the Tri-State, Larry Hose, Ada Cox, Nancy White, Scott Holbrook, Lisa, Finding the Trackway, Tommy Swigger, Pat, Seth Beans Lamille. Where is Pat? Haven't seen him in here.
I don't know.
And we've got, of course, Small Town Monsters, Eyes in the Woods, James Nelson, and our amazing super chatters, the folks that we couldn't do this especially without, because you guys come in and rock the house, share it out with friends and everybody, and buy those cool little stickers. Dewey Edwards, Spooky Appalachia, Guitar Chains Craig, Travis Rednick, Jeffrey Steele, Russ Bailey, Chris Coots, Bigfoot Littlefoot, Terry Summerfield, Sarah Ramsey, Julie Bug, Donna Ho, Angie Breeden, Jen Clower, Jamie Snell, Ike, the Fob Daddy Fauber, Ashley Hilt of On Wednesdays We Talk Weird, Lotus Flower, Wendy the Pooh Bear, Asher's Creations, and Spirit Brothers Paranormal UK. Thank you guys. Y'all are awesome. Dark Wolf says, Joe, what's in the cup? Be honest. Today, because it has been a very long day, I had a huge morning and did not sleep very well because of the anticipation. This is just some good old coffee. It is it's some kind of like lava brand or Ala Lava or something like that. Pretty good stuff. It's like a $10 bag of coffee, so it's pretty cheap for a big bag. I'll take it. Ashley says technology is going to struggle. Freddie Mercury is drinking Gatorade.
Okay. So figure out how to get Angie back. That's your number one.
That's
problem.
what I'm working on. You take care of the other stuff.
Okay. So anyway, what we did, I guess, over the weekend there is we had the premiere of the new series Paranormal Horizon over there on Small Town Monsters, the show that we created and they produced for us to show, kind of what we do out there in the field. And we are going to be going over that tonight. That's
Julie
what
Bug has breached executive producer status.
That's what the episode. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. You are awesome.
Many thank yous, actually. So let me find this because, we got to do it the right way, right? Yeah, that's right. We have to do it the right way. So let's launch it. So this is going to be Beyond the Horizon. And let's see, I actually have a new thing here for it. So there, what is happening there? Okay. Anyway, we now have a new background here for it. So it's all official and whatnot. We have special guests over in the wing waiting to come in. So we're going to see if we can get a couple of them in here. They were on the episode with us. For those who have not seen the episode, it is quite a ride. And I got a little bit of we got a little bit of something here for you actually on that. Somewhere. Hang on, I'll find it. It's right here, if you haven't seen it.
As we rounded the rock, I seen in front of us, like a bluish white flash. 7 minutes ago.
Yeah,
6, 7
minutes ago. Yeah, so we're 9:10, 9:15.
And about 10 minutes ago, I was starting to have a bit of a conversation with something.
And this thing
vanishes into thin air. Literally followed us everywhere. And then as soon as we got up to it, it vanished.
You set the signal. Those guys contacted me on comms at that point and said we just had a radiation spike. We checked ours and we had the exact same radiation spike down here.
As soon as he sent out the signal, the pocket dosimeter started detecting a radiation spike. Now we're back here at base camp, and Ike heard something walking across the creek.
There was definitely something in base camp with us. Did you hear that? It's a crazy rumble. There was something there.
What do you do? This is so weird.
And everybody, please do welcome with us tonight. We have Angie back. Thank goodness. Yes, she gets a sky dolly for that absolute embarrassment. Thank you, Joseph. Wait, Joe's on mute. Joe, did you mute yourself?
I did not.
That's just weird. Because you were
yeah, I got Angie back. It took some finagling.
Good
It's
job.
not easy.
Well,
You would think there would just be a little click, click. It's not.
now you know. So please welcome the team, part of the team who was out there with us that night. We have let's see who we have. We have Larry Host here, and we have the experienced experiencer, Adam Good. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thanks for having us.
How are you guys doing? You are being welcomed by Wendy the Pooh Bear, who gave a super sticker. You are awesome, Wendy.
Wendy,
Keep it up. We
Thank
love
you,
you. We
Wendy.
appreciate you out there in the PNW. Here you go.
For Marissa.
all right. So, guys, welcome to the show. I don't know if you've noticed, but we kind of we got a massive amount of views on that last episode right off the bat, right?
Indeed.
Yeah, that was quick and fast.
Yeah. And I haven't checked it today. We're approaching somewhere around the what is it, the 40 some mark, right, Joe?
We're in 40K. We've
okay.
reached 40K at this point.
Okay, and I know that the previous episode is over 51 now. So
Yep.
absolutely, you guys are absolutely amazing. Thanks for joining us here. I know that we had a lot of people who were asking questions about some of the stuff that happened during the show. We had some comments and whatnot. We're going to address a few of those because that's what we do. So anybody out there, this is your chance right now. Step up to the plate, ask your questions, and we're going to try to get those answered as best as possible. And if even more than that, if I've got a little bit more footage to bring up, I'm going to do that. In fact, I do have some bonus footage that you did not see during the show that we will be playing as well. And we can just kind of go from there and see where we go. Spooky Appalachia says they have a question, by the way.
Not spooky, not Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy's got a question. Ashley needs a Adam Good t-shirt. Just saying. Just letting you guys know. That's something.
It'd be a damn good shirt.
Oh, look at you. So here's the thing. Bigfoot, Littlefoot, I think has got one up there. Go ahead and pull that up. You guys just go ahead and post your questions, and we're going to star them and come to them in order as they show up. So it's going to take a little bit of time to, flag all of them up, but we will get them all up here, and we will try to answer every single question. All right. Just remember that we are monitoring the chat. So if anyone shows up, there will be zero drama. I just want to make that clear and straight up front. That's not how we play this game. This is our channel, and that's what we do here. Everybody has fun. Everybody keeps it friendly. You don't have to agree with everybody, but you do have to be respectful.
Play nice.
Play nice.
All righty. Whose questions are we wanting to start off with first?
Let's just go with them in order and see what we got. I mean, I think that's the
Did
That's
we have any
probably-
starred? Because
I did not star them. I saw them as we came down. Here's one here.
okay, I was getting this shared over to Small Town Monsters community.
Oh,
page.
okay. Go right ahead. You're good.
No, it's up now. I've got all that sorted.
now. Okay, I think we're live over on Instagram too. I'm not sure.
Yes, it shows the check mark. I see the verified.
Oh,
So, all right, guys, we've got
because I can literally never tell.
Bigfoot Littlefoot says, "How close to a craft have any of you guys been to, or how close to a craft have you guys been to a craft after doing a CE5?"
Oh man, well that's a trick question.
Pretty damn close.
Oh.
I've never, but I don't think I've ever participated personally in a CE5. I've had things happen, but I don't know how close to a craft I got. Who's up next?
Well,
Adam, you want to go?
You know, a couple weeks ago,
As we go.
I was doing a CE5 with a close net of friends. Go over, and it just kind of came in real bright, no blinking, and it would just kind of come in. It just went out.
Ron.
I think I got him as far as I could tell.
Okay, yeah, I went through. I can keep up with it from here.
Okay, you got it.
Yep. So, Ron, the question was, how close to a craft have you gotten after CE5?
That's a good question because I don't remember. No, I mean, I'm being serious because, you know, the point of the matter is we don't know. I think that sometimes that those things just happen. And, you know, again, are we talking about craft? I don't know what we're talking about. So got me.
All righty. Larry, any comment for that one?
Haven't been very close, at least to my knowledge.
Okay. Then we've got hopefully that helps with that one. Then Angie asks, where is the deer leg now? About 65 feet that direction. It's in my garage. Do you want to see it?
No, please don't drag that mummified thing out again. Dear.
Yeah, I kept the deer leg. We didn't leave that in the forest. I kept it for reasons. And anybody who wants to see it is more than welcome to see it and look over it and see if they can see anything that we could not. I did use a microscope when I looked over it. Microscope is sitting right there, and I didn't see any sign of dentition, nothing of that nature. And it's very, very, very compelling. So yeah, that's where the deer leg is. It's in the garage, hanging on a hook on the wall.
I have a feeling he'll probably encase it in some kind of a chamber at some point in the future. So I don't know. It's very
that
hard,
would be awesome, and then
say.
take it out on the road and put it out on display. That'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, why not? P.T. Barnum did that, right?
Exactly. Here, pay $1.
We did get some great looks from people on the way out with it that day, though.
Oh, I'll bet you guys did.
Because we had to walk out. We were still about a couple miles out from the trailhead, and we were walking out, and there were people coming up and crossing the trail that would like. And one guy, when he walked by, there was a family or a group. It looked like a dad and his 3 older sons.
Mm-hmm.
They walked by and they were like, "Was that a deer leg?" And then I just yelled out, "Yep, sure was."
You know what's really funny about that is I remember back in the day, I laughed at Jessie when she would go out and get bones and drag them back, and she would tell us about that, and she'd have the pictures of them. And now here you are doing it. It's just like.
I mean, I have other bones too that I've like bleached bones. Because I started collecting those years ago, but I was putting them, they were all going on public display. None of them ever went into my personal collection.
Yeah, I'll tell you a bones. I'm going to give you a story because, you know, this is a bonus. You just hit something.
Not a bonus.
Shut
A
up.
bonus.
So yeah, it really is. So back in the old days when I was growing up, we actually raised goats, and we we had one that did not make it one year, and so they drug the body away down into the woods, far far away, because decomposition. They don't smell the greatest. So years later, I went back in there, and I drug the bones out, and I put it on this big. We had this box, like a big, a really big wooden like table type thing that we had, and I drug it out, and I was putting this skeleton back together. Basically, I had some wire, and I was going to put the skeleton back together. When lo, what does appear on foot, but a troop of Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yes.
This happens. I'm not kidding. This is a real story. And they come. I see them walking down our road, and they come over enough to where they can kind of see what I'm doing. And I've never seen this before in my life. They did not approach the house. They did not approach me. They simply turned around and walked away. Probably because I'm sitting here over this bunch of bones on my knees, and they're just like, this is this is hopeless. So, they got out of there. But that's a true story. That was just a funny thing. I remember when you said that, I was like, oh my gosh. I remember that.
That is great.
But I was trying to actually put this thing back together. I was going to make at the time, I thought I was going to be able to put this. That's how dumb I was. I thought I could put this thing back together and make like a display or something,
Fully articulated.
Yeah.
Skeleton.
Yeah, it didn't work though. I learned a lot about skeletal anatomy though, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
You need a lot of wire.
So the next question is from Joe and Ron. Which researcher or researchers influenced you the most? For me, that goes in by field, because we are multidisciplinary, right? We look at different phenomena. The Bigfoot folks that researched me the most would be Grover Krantz, Dr. Bindernagel, then the tenacity of John Green, the way he would just chase down reports and go out and get boots on the ground as quick as he could. That was like one of the biggest inspirations for us. And I think that's a good inspiration for anybody in research. If you want to understand how to follow up on a report of anything for that matter, take a look at John Green and how he treated reports. You can apply that methodology to literally any form of research. And it's the best way to collect data, hands down. Then when it comes to the high strangeness phenomena, number one is Jacques Vallée, followed up by just his research methodology, John Keel, and folks of that ilk from that era of big or UFO research. And then going more in the modern era, Gary Nolan, Kit Green, McGonigal, those guys. Ron?
Oh, too many to name.
Right. I feel like I could keep going too.
I would say the number one influence of any author there's two, Lloyd Arbach for the Parapsychologist Handbook, and I would go with of course Robert Monroe.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. This book literally is the book that changed my life. So it's always sitting here too. This is the one that really started the whole, down the rabbit hole thing. But I would go from there into some of the more interesting authors. Bud Hopkins, of course. I can't not mention Bud. I would go to John Mike for being the first, the pioneer, basically, to make academia accept the phenomena of, the contact, the abduction phenomena, which really is he's the only person that made me actually start to look at it seriously. When I read his book, I definitely saw it a lot more seriously. And, that definitely influenced things along the way as well. but there's just so many of them. And today, of course, Stan Gordon, he's a go-to when it comes to any of the cases and case files that we need to have a second look at, have somebody else get their eyes on it. It's him. So we're still being influenced by these people. And you mentioned Keel, and I've just recently started to really respect John Keel because he was literally chasing the same thing that we just started to fall upon, and he did it years and years ago, and him and Valet both, and they were just like completely pretty much ignored, because here they are, they're doing this weird thing and it doesn't fit. Not much has changed, but a little bit has changed, because now we see it a broader acceptance of it. So yeah.
All right, so the next question up is from Scott. It says, what happened with the audio we captured when the whippoorwill disappeared? And then asked, was it not clear enough?
Yeah, it's just noise. There's really nothing there.
Explicatives were there.
Yeah,
I know that we couldn't.
That
use
was there.
There was a lot of that.
That was there, but yeah, just it's not clear.
There was from where we were on the road edge and walking along the road, the problem was actually that it was too clean and too clear, because it was picking up all the gravel and everything. And then there was some clamoring back and forth between the three of us, of course, and it just kind of garbled and muddy.
There's clamoring. So for you folks who don't know what we're talking about, I'm going to actually I'm uploading it right now, because we have to do this. I have to take them off and put them back on, because I'm a little bit long, but I'm going to upload a part of that has never been seen. And this is going to I know a lot of people in the chat, they were really good questions over there too. A couple people asked in the comments about were they sure it was real, and I'm like, that's what I thought too.
Yeah.
Until I saw this. So this is for you, whoever you were, and I hope you're watching this, or you get to see this. Here's how we know that this thing wasn't a projection, or some kind of holographic thing or whatever. So watch this.
I do have him in picture. He is this is a whippoorwill.
I wish I would have had it on thermal.
There it is.
Yeah.
That's how close we were to it.
Yeah.
And it didn't go. It didn't run.
It just disappeared.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not zoomed.
I was getting ready to pick this thing up.
So
No
wings
sound.
flapping.
And there's where it cuts off, because it's a bird. No one really thought anything weird of it until it wasn't a bird. So I know a lot of questions are, well, why did you not just keep filming it? Well, it's bird rescue at this point. We're not really documenting bird rescues, but it was a good lesson, because from now on, I think everything's going to have to be just, if you're filming, you leave it on. Don't matter if it seems to be something that's mundane, it may not be mundane at all. So we got a pretty valuable lesson in that bird.
Lisa says we need a mashup of deleted scenes and bloopers. That will come at the end, because there's going to be plenty of that.
Yeah, there's some good stuff. There's some really.
You don't put me in front of a camera and not expect some shenanigans to take place from time to time.
No, that's true. Yeah, there's some shenanigans.
Terry McCullough says, I was curious if the CE5 was filmed before or after the paranormal workshop. It was after.
Yeah, this was way after.
Then we've got Spooky Appalachia says, what do you guys think of the Brown Mountain Lights? What do you think they are? I've been thinking about them since seeing them a few weeks ago. I thought craft myself. My friend that lives near thinks it's Haints.
Well, that's the school of thought with the Brown Mountain Lights. It's been the school of thought for, decades, right? There is someone from the PNW right there.
What's going on, Escatada Man? Good to have you back with us again.
as far as it goes with the Brown Mountain Lights, I know you just saw them recently. Congratulations. That was pretty awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's all the above, and we don't know. I mean, I don't want to give away too much but you're going to see them soon anyway. But we have lights. We have caught lights, obviously, out there in the field, and it doesn't matter if they're a mile away from you or if they're several hundred yards in front of you. You still don't know what they are. And I think that's one of the big issues with them. And the only thing that I would say is it could be both, right?
Yeah.
And as far as the haunts thing, haunts, whatever, spirits, ghosts, etc., all prove it's not the same thing. We can't yet.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. It's labels.
Mm-hmm.
Brown Mountain Lights is a phenomena.
It is a phenomenon.
Yep.
That's the best way to put it. It's a phenomenon. It's been witnessed by way too many people, and it is. That is all I can really put together. All right. So next question on the docket is again from Spooky. It said, "You have a deer leg hanging up." Indeed.
See, everyone finds it just as crazy, don't they? I mean, that's the whole thing.
No, it's not crazy.
Julie Bug says, "Are you guys still
I've done it
investigating the
before.
areas that are in the episodes?"
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's
100% and more.
Yeah. And we figured out some other places along the way, and it's becoming quite the trek at this point.
Yeah.
Like
And with some of the more public areas, we do give it a breathing period.
oh yeah.
So, for example, if we're in a state or national forest, once any kind of media gets released, we back away from it and don't touch it for 6 months or so.
Mhm.
And then we revisit it later after any kind of hype could die away, because you will get people that will come into those areas and try to do things in those areas to repeat what you got, to see if they could collect the same kind of data that you collected.
Yep.
And thereby contaminate the area that you're already working in. And it makes it difficult. It does make it pretty difficult. But you've just got to go into places where people aren't. If you go back to those same areas, you just got to go deeper. Then LW Marshall, wondering when Adam sends his message, would it be psychic energy? Wonder if that energy could cause the radiation that was detected, or did it just affect the equipment but no radiation present?
You have two options on this, and I think that both you and me are going to agree to this. Either that radiation is caused by an external source that we cannot see, that is interacting based upon the interaction with what was going on with Adam, or it was somehow, some kind of a event that we just happened to be right there at the exact right moment in space and time to catch, right? Those are the only two options for why you would have an identical radiation spike right there when it didn't happen any other time. It only happened in conjunction, like literally, seconds as he was doing this, which is just bizarre enough. And then the first time it happened, well, that's when Larry and Scott saw the flash of light or something up there too, I think. So we had two validations, as far as I'm concerned, that were above normal chance. Now, does that mean it was 100% correlated? I can't say that, but I can say that I'm pretty sure that Adam's not radioactive. We've tested that actually.
The big thing though is the distance.
Yeah, that was the part that got me.
Larry had the GQ 300.
Mm-hmm.
You had the GQ 500.
Yeah.
We were in two completely different locations.
Yeah.
We by foot were 3/4 of a mile away.
by the air is about a quarter mile. Like if you go straight through the air,
Right.
we should not have gotten the same exact reading, even if this was a solar flare pulse. If it was, it should have been strong enough to like knock out electronic devices.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying that it's highly unlikely that that's what we were dealing with.
Yeah.
And I know
Yeah.
that others are
things.
like, go ahead.
First I'll say, things such as coincidences. And I did tell Joe that I was going to send danger out to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. You do that.
The only danger was that trail we were trying to walk up and down.
And mostly down.
Yeah.
So for the
Up
folks
wasn't
who,
so bad. Down, on the other hand, was a little
Mhm.
sketchy. As
so for the
dry
folks,
as it's been, there was a lot of loose debris.
Yes.
yeah. So for the folks who don't know what we're talking about there, I got a little bit of I'll go ahead and play this clip for you here.
And about 10 minutes ago, I was starting to have a bit of a conversation with something. And just kind of having this more or less intent about what we were doing and where we were. So, I mean, like I was projecting our location on a map, and I was having our, like peaceful, what we're coming out here for.
So what he just said is he was projecting where we were on a map. Now, we didn't know that at the time, which is, it's kind of funny, but, yeah, that's, I don't know. I'm still having a hard time with this one just because, I saw it. I was there. And unlike, a lot of people's beliefs that, we're mad believers and, and whatnot of this stuff. That's not how this works. We're following data, and the data said something very anomalous took place. We can argue about it. We can pretend it didn't happen too, but it doesn't change the fact that it did. And I think that that's where we're at with this. More tests need to be done. As far as I'm concerned, I want to do more tests in the field with this type of technique just to see if there is some form of a correlation to these events that are taking place. If we can actually prove a correlation with this, do you know how big that is?
Yeah.
We don't know why. We would only know that it would be.
So the next question is, Adam, when you are sending out a signal, how are you doing that? Is it your third eye or what? That question comes from Angie.
That's a great question, Adam.
All of me. From my inner body, physical body, and outer body. From the third eye to my regular eyes. I mean, just everything with me. It's my whole being.
I was curious how you were going to answer that one personally, Adam, and I'm very intrigued by the fact that you answered it the same way that I would have in that respect, that when you're trying to communicate with something, right? It is like a massive pulse. That's the way that I would describe it. It's using your entire being to just blast out whatever kind of signal possible, whether that's in prayer or meditation or whatever you want to call it, labels. It's the same kind of, you put intent behind what it is, and it takes full intent if you're really wanting to communicate. If you're wanting to breach the threshold, you've got to push sometimes. So that's really interesting that you phrased it the same way that I would have. That's neat. Ron, what do you think?
I think that he absolutely hit it the way that It is. That's what you do anytime that you're actually doing any kind of energy work, what he just said. I know there's a lot of people who are like, the third eye and all this. Those terms, they're real. They're real terms. And that's just a way of moving your energy around. That's all it is. There's nothing hokey about it. There's nothing weird about it. It sounds weird because you don't know the terminology. I mean, I'm sure particle physics is weird to people who don't know that terminology too. It's the same thing. But what you're getting at, though, basically is this massive a lighthouse. It's a lighthouse effect. It's like a transmitter, right? So that's what you're doing. You're literally turning your body into a transmitter of this energy. And before anyone laughs, of course, you have to think about this. Everything literally is energy. So there's nothing that says that this falls within some realm of science fiction or the absurd or down the rabbit hole, as some of the folks have liked to say about it. Just because you don't understand it doesn't mean it's not real. That's something that people have spent years trying to understand, right, Adam?
100%. And if you do research into the subject and what I've been doing and such like that, if you go back since forever, what's on the other side, from people in the UFO world with aliens to ghosts to shamanistic, everything, what is commonly referred to why the aspect that is unseen is drawn to us is the fact that they see a light. And the lighthouse effect, like you said, whenever you light yourself up. And the outer body is extremely important to that. And that's the area that surrounds us. And that's how we connect with everyone and everything around us. I know this is getting to, a different kind of territory, but it's factual.
All things go on the table. No, all things go on the table. That's why we had you out there. What we saw at the TNT workshop, after we saw it, that's when I told Joe, I said, we've got to get him. I want him out here for this. And it wasn't a matter of twisting anyone's arms. He was like, absolutely. Like that was it. We were doing this. It wasn't, I don't think, if I wouldn't have asked, he probably would have. That's what I'm saying. And that's a huge jump, just to let you know. That's because you can't ignore the data when you see the data.
So the next question up is, are you going to repeat the experiment in different places like the TNT area?
Yeah.
Might as well. Why not?
Yeah. One day we are going to do that. See, that's the thing. Like, we are filming for this series, but we're also conducting these experiments. And I was talking to Aaron the other day about that. It was like, I'm putting this stuff together, but I'm also processing these reports, and we've got other things that we have to document as well. That's one of the things. Like, this is literally, it's what we do. It's not just a show. This is what we do, and it's good to bring you guys along and let you see it. I think Ashley had just said it was not what she expected.
Yeah, that this episode was not what she expected. Like referring to Paranormal Horizons.
Yeah.
It took in a totally different direction, and it really did. And we don't just do Bigfoot research. Yes, we have won awards for Bigfoot research, but no, we are not exclusively Bigfoot researchers, and we don't always call everything a Bigfoot.
I don't claim
that's one of the reasons why we got the awards we got, was that we analyze things the way you should, in my opinion.
Yeah, I've never claimed to be a Bigfoot researcher. I've seen what possibly was a Bigfoot. Yeah, I don't know what it was, though. I'm not going to tell you that's what it was. I've seen what could possibly be Mothman, but I'm not going to call it that either. See, this is the thing. These are what these experiencers are having happen to them. So when I say someone is an experienced experiencer, for example, and that apparently irks some people, here's what I'm going to define that for you. That is someone who is open to the possibilities that are way beyond the box, who are seeing things occur. You would call them synchronicities. You would call them coincidences, but they know that's not what this is. They know that what they are seeing is happening because of some form of interaction that's taken place either on a conscious or a subconscious level. That's the kind of stuff that really absolutely fascinates me. That's what I'm more interested in than Bigfoot, ghosts, any of that. Could it possibly be related? It may be. I don't know. But right now we still have that subject classification, don't we? A and B. And then we see the overlaps, of course. And that's where it gets really interesting. Why is that happening? I don't know. I just know we're not going to find out unless we go out there and look.
Yeah. So, Larry, I saw your hand go up. Did you have something there?
Oh, I was trying to fix my headphones.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
It was just the most random thing. They're 100% charged right now, and they refuse to work.
Fun. Fun.
It's probably
Trackway
Adam.
says,
He did point at me a minute ago, so I mean,
He did it. It's like when Uri Geller used to make the spoons bend. Yeah. Everybody, hide your watches, hide your.
Put away your electronic devices.
Put away all electronic devices.
Good.
Adam's gonna fry them.
So did Trackway says, did you check the deer leg for marrow? The deer leg wasn't broken open. So yes, all the marrow is still there. There was not a fracture one. This thing was it was a front limb, front left, front right limb to be exact, that was rend from the body. All of the meat consumed. There's no marks on the bone, so everything that was removed was physically pulled. There's no bird pecks. There's no mice or squirrel or rodent dentition. It's just the meat. The meat was gone.
Bizarre. It's just bizarre. When I got to see it for the first time, that's all I could say is this is bizarre. Seeing what that looked like, I don't know. I don't know what it was.
Danny Buckner asked, did you hear the whippoorwill fly, or could it had bury itself? Unless it could bury into pavement, it did not bury itself.
I want to hear your all's thought on this.
And did I was right there close to it, and I didn't hear anything.
There.
No shuffle. There was dry leaf litter around, so any kind of up push takeoff would have moved leaf litter too.
What about you, Larry? Did you hear anything?
Larry, what do you think?
I didn't hear anything like wings, or I didn't hear any of the vegetation around it or the rocks moving or anything. It was more of your gasp whenever it wasn't there, but
yeah, gasp is what we'll call it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We'll leave it at that.
Well, what happened
for the children?
Yeah. So you were visibly shaken. All I know is they come back. I'm telling them about, I saw this light up the road before they came down the road, and they're telling me this story about this disappearing bird. And I'm like, it's a bird. What's going on? Well, I don't understand. And then they tell me the full story about the bird and how it's doing this. And I'm thinking in my head, how long have you guys been gone? and what's funny is we actually synchronized our clocks before we went up there just in case. But there was nothing like that. But more importantly, he pulls out the phone. I see the picture of this actual thing, and then I see it. The IR, or not IR, the thermal, and it's a real bird. It's a real thing. And so it's like, well, not a screen memory, but but they were visibly shaken, and here's a little bit of that.
All right, so.
Oh wait, that's a different clip. I set that up wrong. That's okay. They were visibly shaken. I find that.
I don't get shaken up in the woods. All right, no.
This is really good though. This is when I'm sorry. This is when they saw the flash. So that was you remember the flash, right?
Yeah, this was at Site A.
Yes, Site A. This is the first time that Adam did his thing up at Site A, the very first part.
All right, so we're walking out, and Scott stops us and asks a question. And Scott, I'm going to have you tell what you asked, and then Larry, you share what you saw.
Right. I was in the lead coming down the hill, down the creek. We rounded a boulder, and I seen a flash of bluish white down the trail right above the creek. So I stopped and Joe didn't see it, but Larry said he saw it also. And
Yeah, I was too busy looking down.
I definitely said it before you even said what you saw.
Mm-hmm.
Was did you see that flash up ahead of you?
yeah, and
And almost like, so think of the glass in a screen door. When you go to close a screen door and that light jumps off of it.
just
That
real
is,
quick.
it was real quick, real fast.
Yeah.
And almost like it wasn't in a certain shape.
No,
It was just a light in the middle of the trail.
yeah, just a flash. There was nothing here
Yeah,
reflective.
and there was a bunch of down timber around that area. Nothing that could have been pooled of water or anything like that. We're running red light, so if anything, it would have been red.
All right.
So there's all kinds of this stuff that doesn't get to make it into the videos just because, they would be days long. But that is something that actually plays into this later on, because the flashes, the lights, the blue lights, the things like that. This is a common occurrence that we have heard now multiple times. We actually heard stories about this at OBC this year.
Terry McCullough said something odd here. It doesn't pertain to this, but I just saw it, and it's pertinent to what the last comment was, or the last question. It said, "I would recommend not having your wallet with you when Adam leads meditation. Several of my cards got wiped. White, not swiped."
That's why
No,
I keep
white.
my cards in an.
Yeah,
That's why I
maybe we
keep my
should all
cards
get-
in an RFID.
I was going to say we need to get Faraday cages for all this stuff. I was going to let you guys know we do have some people over on Instagram who have joined us, and one of them is the legendary Seth Breedlove himself.
What's going on,
He's
Seth?
over there somewhere out there
Hope you're having
in
fun on vacation, buddy.
vacation land. Looks like he had a blast. I'm jealous. Heather's here. And we've got looks like Brian's over there. Leaping Leachy's one joined us. Are you serious? Yep.
Dude, it's good
Yep.
to see you guys. I know it's been way too long. I have not
Previous
seen
life.
Steve or Charlie or any of you guys forever.
Yeah. So you guys, I'm trying to go back and forth between Instagram and YouTube over here. So just bear with me. Sometimes I don't see who comes in and who don't. So I'm not ignoring you. If you post questions over there, I'll get to them, but I'm focusing over here on the YouTube side right now. So
Scott brought up all three of us were standing within 3 feet of it, and it simply vanished instantly. No movements, no sound, just gone like it was never near it. That is exactly what
Exactly.
it was.
So again,
I hate
wasn't
to
there.
say it too.
Yeah, it drives me nuts because I know everybody's looking at us like we are absolutely bat nuts bonkers.
I believe
Yeah, I may be
it
crazy, but
was-
not exactly in the disappearing things in front of me kind of way.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I mean, did it just blink or did it?
It was gone. It's
just-
gone.
Like
just wasn't
we
there.
blinked and it was gone. Like it was
Okay.
that
Yeah.
quick.
Was that fast?
Like it was literally in the instance because
Okay,
I'm reaching
So I'm
down.
going to ask the
and
question.
picking up
I'm going to ask the question because we didn't really address this, and I don't think we've addressed it at all in the series for some reason. But you're a master naturalist.
Yeah, we haven't addressed it in the series.
So
and
let me ask you a question on that. Okay. Is it possible for a bird to literally disappear while 3 people are standing around it, even if they happen to blink at the exact same time, which is absolutely probably improbable? Blink of an eye. I mean, can I really? You would
it
still
is
see it or hear it,
possible,
wouldn't
but only if it's already been fraud. And it's
Yeah, a
around
little
a group
hungry.
of guys like me, Scott and Larry,
No.
and it's a fried bird.
No,
this
I
thing
mean-
will vanish
you?
quickly.
No, I mean seriously. Is there any way
No.
that this can happen?
There's not like some birds can camouflage themselves.
Yes.
Okay, I'll say this: if this bird was against a tree,
Yeah.
they are uniquely patterned. Their
Mhm.
feathers are uniquely patterned to blend in with tree bark that is like hickory
Yeah.
or
Yep.
any kind of it blends in great on hemlock as well.
Hemlock.
Okay.
So
which this forest does have a ton. And had this bird been on a branch of that nature, and we blinked when I'm going to get it and turn, like, it wouldn't have been outside of the realm of thought. It could have turned vertically really quick because they can cling on the side of a tree like this, like a woodpecker.
Yeah.
But it turned and just tucked its head down, and I'd have never seen it because it would have blended in very, very well. However, this is on gray, like light gray, white gravel with leaf litter. And
I had a thermal.
Yeah,
you did have a thermal. That's the part that got me. The only thing that really was just I felt myself screaming while I was looking at the data was that Joe walks in front of the thermal right at that critical moment when this thing apparently just wasn't.
Yeah, well, I mean, to put it into
again, I'm thinking, well, they're just thinking
we were in wildlife rescue mode at the moment.
Yeah, like I wore pants for this occasion, guys. Okay.
Yeah.
So, we're gonna just pretend for a moment that
oh boy, we get a reenactment. See, I told you guys this was a special presentation.
That this hot glue gun is the bird, and it's right there. Okay, I'm right here. I'm leaning in to pick it up. My hands are maybe 18 inches from it. My eyes, I'm 3 feet from it. My hands are this far, and it's just boop, gone. No sound, nothing. And what do I do with that information? It was.
We never trust whippoorwills. That's what we never do. Like,
that's a very good point. That's an extremely good point. And, you know, that does come up later on in this conversation, by the way.
So Miss Trackway says no interdimensional travel bubble pop noise when no, none of that, just gone.
No, it would make it more simple that way.
That's funny that you asked that way, Miss Trackway, because that is an actual thing. For those who don't know, there are sounds that some theorize that could be exactly that, but they're typically a metallic sound that happens out in the woods. And, you know, we actually have recorded that, and that may or may not show up in a future episode soon as well. So, yeah.
All right. Next question up is LW Marshall. Whippoorwills in folklore are considered harbingers of doom, but this one seemed to be a friendly companion. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, Mothman was too, right? And then they thought the same thing about it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know? It's really a little miniature Mothman. That's what it was. This wasn't a whippoorwill. I'm going to go on record saying this. I think I've solved this case, guys. I've cracked it. This was a miniature Mothman.
Miniature Mothman.
This makes more sense. That's what it was. The whole episode should have been called Quest for the Miniature Mothman. And yeah, that's what that was. No, but seriously, that is a really good question. And it's important too, all joking aside. Right, Joe?
Yeah, no, it really was. And it's one of these situations where, you know, you're bringing up the folklore of Harbinger of Doom. And again, that's a label that gets used a lot with Mothman. But I've been in talks with a friend of ours who is from Southeast Asia. And he brought up stories of the night jars and how the night jars are viewed as these things that they're harbingers of spirits. And they bring these things in, and the locals will get terrified when they start hearing the clunk, clunk, clunk sounds that these things make as they fly.
Chris Stewart, thank you for being with
Chris.
us. Catch the replay. Speaking of which, I'm going to stop you right here, Joe. Put yourself on pause. We have it's time for the audio version of this to go the way of the whippoorwill. So go ahead. Everybody else, stay tuned. Do not go anywhere. Remain in your seats. This is a drill. Joe.
Guys, thanks for joining us over here at Wild and Weird Radio. We appreciate each and every one of you guys so very, very much. And again, thanks for listening. Thanks for downloading. Thanks for being a part of our community. You guys were absolutely amazing. And if you would like to share your stories with us, you can always reach out to us at wildandweirdwv.com. If you've had a sighting and would like to send that in to us and have us come and investigate, or have a person who is in one of our networks come to investigate your sighting and have a due diligence done to your sighting and see if there's anything that can be corroborated, send it over to wildandweirdwv.com. Click on the reporting sighting tab, fill out the questionnaire, and we will be back with you shortly. Everybody, if you are new to Wild and Weird Radio and you're new to us, we ask that you go over to Small Town Monsters YouTube channel and also subscribe to them, as well as Wild and Weird WV. And while you're over at Small Town Monsters channel, go ahead and indulge in some Paranormal Horizons, which is what this show so far has been about. And if you haven't seen it, it will explain a lot about this weird whippoorwill. So until next time, remember, stay wild and weird, or the whippoorwill might get you. I mean, if that's what Bye, guys. Stay wild and weird.
Okay, and the audio version is cut. Everybody else, here we are. This is the
Welcome back. Welcome
next-
back. Welcome back.
Yeah,
It's
it's the
like
next
the,
half.
we need the introduction from Welcome Back Potter to run.
No, you don't. That's good. It's okay. So this is like the second half of the show here. So we don't really take a break. We just roll right on into it and roll with the punches, right? So go ahead.
Ashley Gilt says, "I feel bad for Kill. Poor guy lost his mind over the research.
I know.
He did.
Did.
No, she's right. She's 100% right, and that is one of the reasons that I want, just the drive for this project at this point is literally, and I told you so, and it's dedicated to Kill. I mean, honestly, it is.
So the next question here is Adam. Actually, Adam.
What are you yelling?
When you were doing the first experiment, Ron pulled you out. You said you were making contact. Was it the bird or something else?
That's a great question. I'd like to know too. I was in the middle of something when you pulled me out. It was yeah.
No, I mean, like the bird, the whippoorwill. I mean, like as it was documented and you all showed. I've always seen it as a friendly character to me. It's been there. It welcomes me every spring, and we're just there always together until the past few years. And whenever you're making contact in some sense like that, in this fashion, it can be hard to understand where it's coming from. And whenever you're talking with something, it takes on a totally new realm. I mean, like, you're talking with something in your head, and for a lot of people, that can make you feel nuts. Yeah. Luckily, I'm fine with that. So, whenever I was talking with it, I could feel a presence nearby and off in the distance as well. Something right beside me and something within me. And I mean, like, it was the time of year whenever whippoorwills are, really coming out and speaking a lot. So, I mean, like, for me, it was just really nice to hear them. And
Right.
I didn't necessarily think that the presence was coming from the bird or was the bird, but it made sense. It was that synchronicity with everything that went on. That was like, that was for me.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about now. So the synchronicity part, guys, if you did not catch it, it was not slick editing either. This really happened in that way. He says literally, when we get there and we're starting to set up and we're doing a talk through about what we're going to do, everything goes quiet for a second. He says, "That's my bird." You can hear the whippoorwill starting up. That's when it starts up, and it's just like that set the theme for the rest of the evening at that point. So
yeah.
Speaking of "That's my bird," Seth asked Adam, "What are some other experiences you have had with whippoorwills?"
One I cannot talk about at this present moment, NDA, but but there have been times whenever I'm out wandering the woods at night around my property, and it's almost like a family will come around me. of whippoorwills. Like there'll be one over here and one over there. And I mean, it coincides with meditation as well. They have come out whenever I was younger and they were more prevalent in my area. That whenever I was meditating, that they get really strong in their calls.
Okay, the next question is Adam. What does he think he was starting a conversation with?
My friends. The group of friends and family that I've had all my life. Something outside of us, this waking life, so to say. It wasn't something unfamiliar that was in the Canal State Forest. It was something that's been with me all my life.
The good folks over at Instagram have been disconnected. We
I
will
saw
get back
that.
with you guys here momentarily.
I saw that.
So the next one up is got to scroll back up to those. From Lisa. Lisa asks Adam, what was the conversation, language or image?
So you can ask questions, you can get questions back, you can get feelings, you can get pictures, you can get videos, so to say. And it's all up here.
Okay,
I mean, when I say it's up here, I mean it's not all in your head. It's whenever you see an image or something, it's above your eyes. It's above your viewing. It's in peripheral.
Ashley Hilt says, come on, we know birds are totally real. They do that all the time. Or we know birds totally do that all the time. They're not even real.
Yeah, that's there you go. That's it.
Then Jen says, so eyes were always on the bird. No turning away for a conversation, no camera adjustments. No, I have done bird rescue previously. And the last thing you want to do, especially with a relatively harmless bird of prey nonetheless, is turn your eyes away from it. Because one, the moment you do that, it will get squirrely. And two, the other thing that it will do is hurt you. And you don't, I was not in the mindset to go ahead and take one for the team that night. So you want to get in tight, get in close, and then lunge and grab softly. You don't want to squeeze because, you squeeze too hard and it's like squeezing a, Ziploc bag full of Jell-O. So you just want to real quick just be on it. And yeah, so I had my eyes on it the whole time, and then suddenly it was gone. Then Larry was trying to film around my backside.
Crazy.
He was trying to get around my big tail end, getting in the way, getting up close. Because I mean, to get down on it, you do have to kind of hover around it and get in there, and it was really hard for him to actually stay on frame there. Just because how you have to approach a bird when you're going to grab it like that.
And I knew I had to stay back a certain distance, and I really didn't want to move around it too much to spook it.
Scott says, I'm not sure if Larry was looking directly at it. Joe and I were looking right at it, and it disappeared faster than you can blink. Yeah, Larry was trying to get a scope on it.
Yeah, I was in thermal.
And but yeah, this thing just gone. Then Oz in the Woods says
things disappear just like that.
Oz in the Woods said, did anyone experience rashes or physical symptoms out of the ordinary?
Not on this investigation, but later on, yes, I did actually get a very almost like they were almost like bug bites. But
you're talking about the chiggers we got into later?
Is that what it was?
Yes, 100%.
Okay. I was wondering if that's what that was. I know
all the
I
way
got rid
up
of it.
to my underwear line. For those of you who are curious.
It
I
was rather
wasn't.
unpleasant.
Mine
I
was
mean,
only
at least
on
they
my
stopped
leg.
at the underwear line.
I know, right? God, if it had been gone, it'd have been real bad if it had gone.
Yeah, it would have been bad.
So yeah, but it went all the way up because when we go out in the woods, I normally wear like dry fit everything, you know, and so they're rather tight around that ring on the leg, and thank God they were, because they preserved me and kept me safe from getting eaten up.
Yeah, they're pretty bad. Figured that's what it was. I just wanted to go ahead and address that. Answer yes, but that's what that was.
Yeah, I think we all got them.
Yes.
We all got it bad. It was not pleasant.
Yeah.
Ashley said it's tough because a lot of this phenomena I know to my core is real, but I wouldn't have ever believed it if it hadn't happened to me.
Exactly. And that's where we sit, actually, with a lot of this stuff. You get the people who think that they already know, this can't be real because I've never seen it. I've never experienced it. This sounds ludicrous. Yeah, it does. I'll be the first to admit it absolutely sounds ludicrous until you start following the data. And then you have a real hard decision. You can either turn around and walk the other way and pretend you didn't see it, which you really can't do that, or you can start following it and trying to figure out what in the world does this mean. Oh my God, is that Caleb?
Sure is.
Angie said, Joe is a master naturalist. Yes, indeed. In fact, I'm teaching a class this coming Saturday morning on tree shrubs and woody vines.
Noise.
The most interesting of classes.
Oh, I know, right? I make it fun though. Like nobody gets bored in my classes. It's pretty fun because I normally teach 2 or 3 a year, and it's everybody always really enjoys the courses that I teach. They stay alert for sure.
Everybody knows that dendrology is the best course ever.
Yippee! Alrighty, then let's see. We hit that one already. Next one. Angie says, "I want a miniature Mothman." Well, luckily for you.
Hey.
We have at least 2 different models on hand.
Not yet.
And you
not
can
ready
collect
yet.
those at the Mothman Festival.
But there will be.
At least 2 different models.
There will be many Mothman about.
Only a small shameless plug. It's
many
fine.
Mothman.
Many Mothman will be about. And you will definitely want to be there to get one because they will fly away very quickly.
They always do.
They do. They really do.
Less than a blink of an eye.
Donna says, mini Mothman. I want one for the dashboard of my car.
They're perfect for that.
Then let's see. Scott says, don't forget to smash that like button. Absolutely, guys. Go ahead and hit that like button over on YouTube. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's a small contribution that you guys can give to us, and it pushes things right along.
Well, it keeps the show rolling. Lets us know you like what we're doing.
LR asks, Adam, what kind of things do you talk about during these sessions? When you're having these sessions, like what are the conversations like?
Depends on the day. There can be a lot of guidance. There can be a lot of creativity. One thing that really happens is it's really good for sourcing out, just being a good soundboard, but there can be a lot of flashes of brilliance. But if
Danny
anything,
Buckner
it's
asks
like
Adam,
you coming in with an intent.
Danny Buckner asks, what other critters are attracted to you, Adam?
Plenty. I've had bear chasing me. I've chased bear. Otters, deer, fox.
I mean, Adam's from Australia. Lots of weird things can chase you around.
Oh, I was just sticking with this continent for a minute, but recently, the weekend I was up with you all in Point Pleasant, we had a bald eagle come to the house and land on my mom's window.
Wow. Dude.
And in Australia, a lot of echidnas, definitely kangaroo, and fox down there. The screech owls down there are amazing, just huge. Some of the biggest owls out there, and they stuck around me quite a bit, along with a 3-foot tall koala.
Oh wow.
So Seth asks Ron, can you speak about your experiences with the Obnik, especially visually?
It was visual. It was only visual. I did not. I didn't feel it or anything like that. I actually saw this thing straight on, both eyes, not peripheral vision, and it looked at me. I looked at it, and it was just like gone. Not like whippoorwill gone, but it was just like ducked behind the little wall and was gone. It was crazy. It was like a little 3-foot tall cat monkey thing with big eyes. I don't know. It was very strange. That was an interesting thing.
Caleb Conroy asks, me and the lady are looking over my shoulder at the Charlotte, North Carolina airport layover and wondering if psychedelics were used during these meditation communication sessions or if it's all natural.
Negative.
No psychedelics were used, right, Adam?
All natural. In fact, psychedelics can dampen. I mean,
say that again, Adam. I want to make sure that
good.
everybody hears that. Stop for a second, because the audio.
Your microphone's breaking up.
And I want you to say that. I want you to make sure that gets said. Okay. So clearly say what you just said.
Psychedelics will dampen and hinder anything like that.
Mm-hmm. And why is that, Adam? Do you think?
It's cheap and dirty.
The easy way, is that what you're kind of getting at?
No, and I mean, like, for the most part, it doesn't do anything. It does stuff to your mind. It's not doing something outside.
Got you. It's not affecting the auric field, basically, is what you're saying, right? The energy field different.
Yeah,
I got you. I know what you're saying. So yeah, I get asked that question a lot, and I wanted someone else to answer it. In fact, when I did Kecksburg a couple of years ago, that was, I got followed out, and they were like, "Hey, that was amazing." And the guy tells me about how he does this stuff, and he's using psychedelics, and he's seeing the same stuff. Well, yeah, I've heard similar stories. I have no doubt that you're doing it. You are absolutely 100% doing it. Yes. Are you doing it the same though? And I think you just hit up on it right there. And that's why you're not. You're seeing it. You're seeing the same stuff. We're probably going to say that there's something there, but it's the way that the mind is interacting with it, and it kind of seems like the easy way, like you're saying, kind of dulls the actual connection. It's kind of like looking through I would say it like this. It's like looking at a scene through a foggy glass versus no glass. Does that sound about?
It sounds 100%. And I'll go even further. I mean, if you talk to anyone outside of our society and go to where, like, let's say ayahuasca is, like the indigenous culture, the native culture will be like, "Oh yeah, you want to take it? Fine, we'll take your money, but are you really sick?
Right.
Do you really need this?
It's medicine, right? That's what you're getting at.
Yeah, I mean, you can do this on your own. I've had much more powerful experiences on my own than anything I've ever taken or indulged in.
Yep, absolutely refused anything like that. I was in a band for 25 years, man. Come on, but I absolutely refused anything ever, because I believed, and I still do, that once you get this tuned in, you don't want to take the chance of, dialing the dial the wrong way, or so to speak, if that makes sense.
Well, not only that, but I'm going to say it in a more of a crass way. It's the same. It's along the same thing, same lines as masturbation and sex.
Okay, I got you. I know. I draw the conclusion. I see what you're saying. So the parallel is there. Yeah, it makes perfect sense, though.
Yeah. If you need a little help in life, take the medicine, but this is available to you at any time.
It is. All you got to do is close your eyes and,
Contact me. I'll teach you my way. I was even thinking about creating a meditation group or something like that.
I think you should. No, I think you should, for real. And folks, this is something that is not planned. We're going to ask you right now, how many would you, because we know almost all of you, which is amazing. We have such an incredible group of people. How many of you would be interested in, coming to one of Adam's sessions? Because I've been there. I'm going to tell you what, it's something. It's really something. He's not full of it. He knows what he's talking about.
I'd do it.
You'll learn a lot.
I'll welcome anybody. Come on in.
General consensus in the chat is a yes. So
no pressure, Adam. You're welcome.
No, I'm ready. Let's set a date.
So Trackway asked Ron, you saw a puckwudgie in reference to the Obnik.
No. This is something completely different. The mythology is completely different. Puckwudgies actually look like almost like little people. That's the definition of a true one. This thing's not a people. This thing is
what I saw was
a creature. It's a creature. It's like a little creature. It looks like a cat, man. I mean, that's the best description I can tell you.
It's an upright walking cat thing.
Yes, with a tail.
And the weird thing is like the first time we went up there was when I had my experience. And I locked eyes with the thing.
I remember this well.
And there was like a gaze for a moment. It wasn't like this thing ran away either.
Yep.
It saw me. It knew that I saw it. I knew that I saw it. And it was just like, well, okay, bye.
That's literally what it does, and that's what it did. And no, this was not a little person. This was an animal. It looked like a 3 foot tall cat that stands on its back legs. Imagine it like that, with a longer neck, odd face, very odd face, but still cat-like ears, and a tail.
It was and to give anybody that isn't familiar, we did a whole episode on the Obnik.
Yeah, we did.
Travis.
Yeah.
And you guys can go back and watch that episode or listen to it if you want, because it was in both video and audio form. And we talk about the Obnik at length, and it is a creature that is part of the Slavic lore, and it's a good thing. People would actually go out and try to catch these things to bring them into their house because it was a good critter to keep. Teresa says, cutely cat, monkey shaped.
Yeah. That's the best way to describe it, Teresa. Yeah.
Just as my cat walks out from behind the TV.
And so it's a Slavic creature of mythology. Kind of akin to some of the, if you want to go into the more European stuff, the Fae.
Yeah.
But I
found them in Scottish lore.
You're breaking up, Adam. I'm sorry.
Second, Adam.
Oh no, I've found them in Scottish lore. They're called like cat Sith.
Okay,
so they're there too.
I mean, it seems to be
very
pretty
strange.
well this semblance, the symbology of this creature. It does seem to spread throughout a lot of Northern European and Central European countries or states, whatever you want to call them. If you go back and roll the time clock back, there is this commonality. They just call it something different, similar to how the First Nations tribes here in America have commonalities with different spirits and different, different symbologies, but similar. They all kind of relate in a way, but they're a little different here and there. Caleb said, so friend shape. Yeah, 100%. Like this thing, if this was a creature that I could literally bring home and sit and eat a bag of potato chips with, totally would. A really, really interesting thing. And the fact that, because I'm hearing the stories the whole day, right, about this Obnik, and we get up there and like we're hearing stuff move around in this room that there is nobody in. And I'm just like, surely not. It's probably just like a rat or a mouse, something. And then it wasn't. And it was weird, but it wasn't even remotely unsettling. Like, I wasn't scared by this thing. I saw this thing and it was like genuinely met with intrigue. I was like, well, that's interesting. and then afterwards I was like, yeah, totally just saw the thing. And it raised more questions. Teresa said that Travis says his friends will sometimes see it in times of need. And I think I saw it at my house a few times.
Oh, that's cool.
That's really interesting.
Isn't that something?
Linda Sigmund asked, was it wearing clothes? Nope.
Little furry black looking thing.
Adam in the comments says, you don't take an Obnik, the Obnik takes you. And that's the truth. The Obnik would adopt the individual's family as its own and would protect the family. It was seen as a good omen to have these critters. And if you messed with it or the family, it would generally seek revenge.
Usually by burning your barn down.
Yeah, that was the big thing. They burned your barn down.
It would burn their barn down. Yeah.
If you made it unhappy, it's like, okay, fine. Then Teresa said, y'all thought I was crazy until you saw it for yourself. Yeah, like I didn't think you were crazy.
I know, right?
Like,
I didn't think you were crazy. I was just like, what in the world? When I heard it, I was like completely intrigued. And like, wait a minute. Could it be?
Trackway says, I'm pretty sure my cat wants to eat my liver.
Sure it's a cat.
Given the opportunity, it would.
So Oz
says, common
good observation.
You know, cats will eat the face, the sweetening.
This is a good observation.
Oz in the Woods says, common thread across stories is people have an interaction via type of ethereal modality, and the manifestation of it may vary, but it is very real to the experiencers. That is very accurate.
100%.
I had that comment flagged earlier too, and I was going to put it up, but I lost the flag somehow.
Yeah, that's 100% accurate as far as I'm concerned right now. Yes.
So I'm going to start. We're going to hit some of these questions that were over on the videos YouTube.
Yeah, folks, continue to ask your questions. Please keep rolling. We're going to keep doing this. Like I said, we're going to get to everybody's questions. So keep asking your questions.
So far we're caught up with you guys. So come up with some more. We are going to keep an eye on them for sure. Like Ron said, over here on the Underneath Paranormal Horizons episode, it says, great video. The radiation aspect of the video was interesting because hypothetically, if they can travel through portals, there would probably be a measurable increase in the background radiation. I've been able to decipher that the electromagnetic spectrum is part of the strangeness around this phenomena. I'm still sorting things out, but if you're thinking that this thing is an undiscovered wood ape or well-a hominid, you might be on the wrong track. The Bigfoot are like humans in the sense that they are sentient beings capable of emotions, and they are highly intelligent. And that's if you're looking at Bigfoot at all.
Right. Yeah, I think that is something that people, they didn't quite get, because, we do both, and in the investigation, to be honest with you, it goes from this physical thing to a non-physical thing. It just happens, and it happens a lot. But at no point did I ever say that it was Bigfoot.
Okay, then this one was sent in by another person that said, I've seen it a million times. A gash on the head, hit by a car, struck by a car or truck, and it runs off and dies. Usually beds down in a creek to die. Just what I've seen.
Well, that's a good observation.
It does happen when deer, Larry can attest to this because Larry's a hunter as well. When deer are near death, they will bed down in water.
I saw a bear do the same thing. I understand.
Yeah, almost all wildlife will do this. They'll seek out water and they'll pass away in the water. However,
straight downhill and towards water.
Exactly. However, they don't disembowel themselves and clean out their carcass before they do this.
So this thing was, right. This thing had the large and small intestine were separated. The crop. Larry's got a watcher.
Yeah.
Funny. These things were laid out. You know, you had the stomach separated from the large and small intestine. The lungs were completely gone. The trachea was gone. However, the esophagus you could see was pulled to the breaking point and snapped and recoiled back up into the cavity. And there was what looked to be a large handprint around the neck. Now, thanks to some friends of ours, these photos have now been examined by a big game hunter, like real deal hardcore big game hunter, who is absolutely not in the least fascinated or intrigued or even follows the phenomena of Bigfoot or anything else for that matter, because this guy likes horsepower and pew pew. And that is all he is into. And he saw the photos and he tried his best to figure out what it was. And he agreed with the DNR law enforcement and myself that there was no sign of knife marks.
No.
There was no sign of he said that this thing was grabbed by the neck, you could tell, and he visibly, I don't know how, but he visibly could read from the photos that its neck was broken, which it was. I mentioned that in the show, that when we were pulling the carcass away, the head was literally like bobbling around like in almost a 360. It would go one way and then revert back the other direction, which isn't normal. If your neck is attached, it'll just kind of drag with the body. But it was broken. And he could not figure out what it was. And he said, this is a really interesting set of photos because I have no idea what could have done this. No wildlife would take this thing apart the way this did and clean everything out. All of the parts that we found would have been the parts that were first eaten, aside from the parts we didn't find, which was heart and liver and kidneys. Very protein rich, but they also go after the soft meats. Lisa, thanks for hanging out.
See you, Lisa.
So, yeah.
And honestly, the only animal I've ever seen actually wash its food are raccoons, and they got tiny hands and don't strangle deer. So
exactly. So I think that was that. Yeah. You know, deer will go down to water. All wildlife will go down to water when they're injured like that to die. They, after post-mortem, things have difficult time, you know, disemboweling,
ripping its own leg off and stuff. Yeah.
Right. Ripping its leg off and yeeting it like, you know, 10 feet from the body. Yeah. So another question was, does anyone have an idea of what that deep rumbling was on the audio track?
I mean, we were just talking about a deer getting choked. So.
No, I cannot really explain what that rumble was. I know someone had said that it was wind. If that was wind, we not only would we have felt it, we would have heard it, and it would have probably blown half of our equipment away.
Well, Larry's the one that placed the recorder in the tree.
Yeah.
So
that was completely random too, by the way. I just had a feeling to set that over there.
I didn't even know it was there.
Larry, tell us how you put this in the tree.
I had it leaned or actually up on the tree itself. It was on kind of where the root comes down there, and it was laying up on top of it.
So, you know, the first thing whenever I was reviewing the audio before we did anything with it, because I had to go through all the recording, and I took out the chunks that were that I thought were worth looking at and examining, and we isolated those. Then I sent those over to Ron and further isolated it and enhanced it where it needed to be. But this one wasn't touched. This segment of audio nothing was done to it. So you're not picking up any kind of augmentation.
No.
This was a raw piece of audio, and you heard this buffeting sound, this, and it could be just trying to play the advocate of a skeptic here. Okay.
and playing into that, it could have been a large moth
Okay.
batting its wings.
He's back
Right.
again, y'all. He's back
Mhm.
again. You knew he would make another appearance.
right against the microphone.
It's always been Mothman.
So
Always.
My secret lover.
it could have been that. It could have been something. The other thing that it could have been, I'm going to show you, because I've replicated this sound. I don't have it to play back for you, but I replicated it using this H5. When I took my finger and placed it here and drug it across the microphone, dragging it across this face of the microphone, it makes a very, very similar sound. Simulating that something is touching the microphone itself. So it's possible that whatever it was we heard walking away on 2 feet, we'll add, actually reached down and touched this microphone, because there was a red light on,
Yes, there was.
but it wasn't making any noise. So it's just a red indicator light. Could have been interested by this red light and reached down and just touched it, because it wouldn't have been putting off a signal like a camera would. This is just recording data, and touched the thing and then walked away.
Now, I do remember Scott saying something about with the parabolic that he was hearing the rumble like that too off the parabolic.
Right. And when it was right around the time we got the radiation.
Yes.
He had a rumbling on the parabolic mic. Unfortunately, that didn't transfer over into the recording.
Right.
Like, you could hear it kind of, but it wasn't very prominent. It was similar though, but it would have been in a different time.
Yes.
So Beat 3 Airspace says the radiation really perked my thinking. So that one, the radiation is really interesting, Beats, and we've been seeing this radiation pop up almost in the exact same levels multiple times in various locations, and it's usually around events of high strangeness. Ron?
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, where it started. You know, that's the origin story of that has been pretty much documented at this point. And it was that with that 33 CPM rise from double the background radiation near those those tracks that turned out to be bare. Someone asked the other day, you know, what's the strangest thing that I've run across, and they were actually asking Maria about that, and she said, I think it would probably be the radioactive bear.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know, that's actually pretty true. That's, I think now that I look at it, the rest of the data, I can say, well, so-and-so has seen this before. This has been recorded before. That I saw that in a book before. I don't think I've ever seen radioactive bear footprints mentioned in any of the literature.
No.
So yeah, that's pretty strange, but we've seen this. It's and it's almost always right around the 30 to 40. It's within 30 to 40 CPM, and it's gamma rays, which is very interesting because that should not be there. It's not normal. That's not just coming from me. That's coming from people who are out there, and they'll tell you, well, the only reason that you got that's because there was something in the minerals, and you know, well, that may be the case, but here's the problem with that. They should be there when I go up there to take my baselines.
Yep. There's no granite in this area.
It doesn't get to just appear. It can't do that. It can't. Radiation is a constant. It does not just disappear. If I go and get my little piece of, you know, like you've seen it at the workshops, when we take the little piece of uranium glass, we put it beside it. That's a constant. It gives off an exact constant, same reading every single time because it's constant. It's very predictable. If it's 17 CPM, which is your background radiation,
that's
average 24/7 with maybe a little bit of a 23 because of some kind of astronomical, who knows. Sure. Okay. But when you're talking about going up to 33, 44, yeah, that's not normal. That's not going to happen. There's something causing that. Now, what that is, we can't say. We can only say that it
And
is
not because we're not allowed. We just
No, I don't know.
can't.
I'm not
We
going
can't
to.
quantify it. We
I'm not
can't
go-
find a reason for it beyond
I can.
that there is some sort of interference
Yeah.
that is being generated
Yeah.
by what we're experiencing.
Yeah. The speculation is anything from residual of some kind of technology, because we have seen it in places where orbs were sighted just 24 hours before, something like that. But we don't know. We can't say that 100%. I can't tell you that's what this is. But it could be a signature. Yeah.
Yeah. So Danny Buckner asks, you were talking a little bit about radiation. What type of radiation poisoning could be possible, or is it too low?
Oh, it's not. It's low. This is lower than some of the uranium glass I've got in there. We're talking 33, to 40 CPMs, and it happens really quick, and it's just enough to almost make you say, that shouldn't have happened. It's enough to make you to get your attention. We always say it's the that type of thing. It's where it's just the look at me radiation, and that's what it is. It's literally the look at me radiation. Shouldn't be there, and yet here it is. And what gets more weird about it, guys, is when it falls into place with a ITC session, instrumental transcommunication session, where we're actually asking questions, and then all of a sudden we get a spike in radiation during one of these sessions. At the same time, we get, say, another type of reading on another completely different device. Then it gets very interesting.
So Linda Sigmund brought up regarding the deer mutilation area, a dog man dinner.
I don't know.
I'm going to.
I ain't gonna go there.
I don't. And again, this is just me and my personal theory. The dog man is not a flesh and blood entity that is going to require food.
I agree with this.
So it wouldn't be doing that specifically. I wouldn't see it having a need to eat, especially seeing as how this thing like almost manifests.
Yeah, and not just manifests, Joe. Manifests in people's houses.
Yes, smoking.
Yeah. That's not something that would technically need to eat per se. And if it did, it would probably honestly it would be in a way that we couldn't even imagine, I would say, because you'd be looking at something that you can't even.
Caleb brings up a really interesting point, and this is exactly why we do what we do. Is there's a lot of things in the woods that shouldn't be there.
Yeah, you're right, Caleb. You're 100% right about that.
And that's 100% why we keep doing what we're doing, because we're finding these anomalies, and it's absolutely mind-blowing. Because
I think someone said that we were literally wasting our time. That was one of the more colorful comments, I think, before it got removed.
Or that we're really, really loud hunters.
Oh, I'm not a hunter.
Well, that was actually the next thing I was bringing up from them, was like, from over on this side, was that you guys are pretty noisy hunters. And I responded back on this one. I said, we weren't really trying to be quiet. With all the cameras, lights, IR torches required to film at night, it all negates being stealthy. Plus, all the alleged reports are there are hundreds of which report being near or around a picnic, an outdoor birthday party, or some kind of holiday. And those aren't silent parties. On the other hand, I could record a lot of dialogue over again and use my best pillow talk voice, but I'm not sure that I can afford the therapy bills that would incur.
No.
Shar says,
"Oh,
I'm
you
late.
wouldn't be paying the therapy bill."
Link to the recording.
Come on out in the woods, and I'll show you how quiet I can actually be.
It will. It'll actually be up as soon as this ends. It'll go back into replay, Shar, and you can catch it right from the beginning. And there's a lot of really good questions, and there's some footage that was on here that was exclusive, so you'll get to check that out.
Scott Holbrook brings up another thing about the dog man, is it seems to be impervious to bullets, because there have been people who have been point blank range and shot at these things, and they claim that the bullets seemingly go straight through it,
folks,
or it has hit it and just
not caused any damage.
Don't know. I don't dwell on that subject. That's nope.
Then
You're only
Teresa
going to
says,
make them mad.
Yeah.
Teresa says, I always thought West Virginia had way fewer Dogman reports than you'd think it would have. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, we also have to look at it like this. There is a phenomenon that takes place that's sort of like a Me Too phenomena. Okay. And once a group of sightings begins, inevitably it hits social media, and all of a sudden everyone else starts seeing the exact same thing. So that's when it gets really hard, because we have to go in and literally start asking questions and trying to figure out, like when we do our questionnaires, I know what to ask at this point. We can pretty much ask the question and know if you're telling us if you had a legitimate experience, or even if you think you had a legitimate experience. If something put that in your head, we can tell that that's legit. But if you tell us that you saw, this or that, and it sounds exactly like something in some of these reports or in some of these books, then you have to question it, because there's always a little something that's not in those books. You never put all of it in there. This is an old UFO thing. It's what the researchers in the days did. They never put it all in there. They only put what, the bare minimum. But there was always this one little thing that they kept back, and they kept that amongst themselves, and they compared those notes because they worked together.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's how police and journalists do for serial killers.
It's the same thing. It's the same exact way, Adam.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we do, literally.
Scott Holbrook brought up, if you think you're going to sneak up on a Squatch, you're fooling yourself. 100%.
Oh, it's
correct.
pointless. It's pointless. They know you're there before you knew you were going there. I mean,
Yeah,
they're
and then the way they move around when you're there.
And by the way, I'm talking about a real physical thing. I'm
flesh
not
and blood
talking
thing.
about the subject A. The subject A. There's if it's real, then it's the most intelligent thing, and you just can't ignore. You can't ignore that, in my opinion.
Rob Posey just said, I just got here too. Can you guys just repeat everything I missed? And then Pat finally made it. Pat showed up.
Hey, Pat.
Welcome aboard, Pat.
Pat says, I want to play tag with the Space Wookiees.
Oh, there you go.
Let's see.
Check and see if we have any more questions. We're still rolling over there on Instagram. It looks like every now and again somebody watches, but then it kicks us off. That's what it does.
Okay, we had somebody over here who BC Pioneer, who's a big game hunter, over here on YouTube.
Yeah.
He brought up that North American big cats do not drag prey up trees.
Mm-hmm.
They will stash them, they will hide the bodies, but they will not drag them up trees.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting tidbit.
Yeah.
Because you often hear people, as soon as you hear something about being dragged up a tree, everybody says cougar.
Right. Well, I even asked you, I think that's my first question was, couldn't this be put up there by a cat or something? And then I saw the picture of the tree, and I'm like, well, but someone had said that they could have been to that tree beside it and dropped it, which, I think that if you did that, you would have had to been right on it, because the tree that it was on, I don't know that you could have did that.
That branch, actually, when I removed the leg from the branch, that little twig that it was on, which was no bigger than that, like in width, it snapped right off as I was removing the deer leg.
Yeah.
So this thing was gently placed. It wasn't like it was like dropped from altitude and just landed there. Plus, it was hung right on the joint.
Could have been a leprechaun.
There should have been more.
Yeah. So Larry and I did a perimeter walk around this tree as well, and we couldn't
Yeah.
find any remains whatsoever of the rest of this deer.
Yeah, we covered that. It was actually in there, but no one, you know, everyone forgot
attention to
that.
that
Yeah,
part.
everyone forgot that part. But yeah.
Donna says, I find myself wondering about if dogmen are flesh and blood because my husband and I experienced a series of dogman experiences in the 2000s,
Uh-huh.
which included mind speak. So what else can one think?
Uh-huh. Exactly. That's why I don't think it's a physical thing, but that's just me, you know.
Angie gave a debrief to Rob. Whippoorwills, deer legs, Obnik, and Dogman.
That's pretty much it. You got it.
Yeah.
That's the whole show right there in a nutshell. That's what I'm going to call it, I think.
Scott Holbrook says they can be forest ninja 1 second and then a Mack truck driving through the forest the next, pertaining to Bigfoot. Yes.
Yeah.
Pat says mountain lions stash food on the ground, so if they're being harassed by wolves, they can lead them to the food and get away. Yep. After seeing the BC hunters post over there on YouTube, I did some research and verified that exact comment.
Really? Yeah.
Terry says, I would think if something carried the leg up there, it would have been more than one leg.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Then let's see. Okay. We've had a lot of awesome feedback over here on the episode.
Oh, incredible. We had some really good, great questions that some of these folks had asked, which was, you know, unexpected. I love it. I mean, that's awesome. Apparently they are paying attention, and, you know, there are people who are genuinely interested in this. It's not just, you know, a very small fringe group. There's interest in this phenomena. So yeah, they had some really good questions.
And it's been really cool too, because there have been some folks over on the videos, because we are very interactive over there. This isn't something where we're going to just ignore comments on stuff, negative or positive. We thank people. Even some of the comments that are rough, we thank them for their input. But I've also kind of developed these weird YouTube friendships with some of these folks who started off in a really negative light, but then once they talk to me on there in the chat, they're like, "Oh, this guy's actually a human." And
I was telling Aaron that the other day, because he was talking about that, and I said, you know, we've met some of our biggest supporters in just that way. That you know, they were kind of, you know, prejudging the whole thing, and then once they talk and they figure out we're on the same page, you know, then it's they become some of the best people out there. So yeah, it's pretty awesome actually.
Then let's see, we've got there, one of the commenters said that is some odd stuff. I wonder if the bird could actually have been some kind of projection from something.
Yeah, that was my first thought too. But the thermal kind of tells me it wasn't just a projection.
Yeah, it was very interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. Then we get a lot of comments like, I like that there are people out there with an open mind, willing to try different tactics. People have been doing the same thing for decades and had basically no success. It's time to have new ideas and try different things. This goes for Bigfoot and the UFO phenomena. How many people, Ron, as long as you've been doing UFO research, how many people have told you, hey, the best place to go find UFOs is in the middle of the woods?
All right. None. Zero.
None.
Zero.
Like,
but guess what? The best place to go find UFOs? It's the middle of the woods.
Yeah.
No, for real.
Never in a million years would I have thought that.
No, but that's what the data says. The data is showing exactly that. And it's not a one-off. So that's where we also get that subject A and B thing. So if we're talking about a physical thing, and that was been seen around this subject B, right? then what is going on? Why is subject B so interested in subject A? See, this is a much bigger question and a much bigger just box of mysteries than we can even imagine. It's not just about Bigfoot and UFOs or Bigfoot and the paranormal. This is about some other thing watching this other thing. And then here we are in the middle, caught watching the whole both sides and trying to figure out what's going on.
Apparently Elvis has joined the chat. We have Pickle and Peanut Butter 2566
All right.
comments. I didn't believe in anything until I saw a ghost that followed me home from work. Now I believe in the paranormal and I'm more open to other things.
Yeah, that's what it takes.
Right.
Pickles. And you know what? Has anyone actually had pickles and peanut butter? Because you're thinking about Elvis, that's pickles and bananas, or peanut butter and bananas. Pickles and peanut butter is delicious. I just wanted to go ahead and say that.
Put pickles on there too.
No,
It was bananas. Okay.
Bananas and peanut butter, which is pretty good too. I ain't gonna lie to you. But pickles, oh my God, that's delicious.
Grilled as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. The hot peanut butter. Ooh, it's hard to beat a hot peanut butter sandwich.
Yeah. Frozen.
Mhm.
Peanut butter is just good. If you can eat it, eat it.
So Beat says, oh yeah, America is almond different stuff than just howling, knocking in trees. Science and data is fantastic. And then up here it said, traveling through Flint Hills with the daughter and had to stop very quick. A whole herd of deer grouped in the road. They were does. There were about 20 plus, and then saw and heard this great screaming growl, and it was terrifying. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Don K asks, so does Bigfoot come from the UFOs?
Don't know. Can't answer that.
No idea.
Yeah.
Can't answer that. And anyone who says that they can, they don't really know. They're guessing.
Yeah.
Probably.
But we don't
And
know.
he says, so it's the
For
woods.
people
then.
like that, I just show them this.
Yeah. Yep. 100%.
Well, the data says it's A and B right now. Is
Yep.
what it says.
Right now.
Right now.
There's
Now, that could
at least
change.
two different things going on.
That could change. We don't know. But right now, it is two separate things as far as the data that we are looking at says.
And if it ends up linking up that
Now,
way, it's
I will
gonna be even
say,
stranger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I will
Linda
say
says
that
this is about what else is out there in our beautiful world.
Go ahead, Adam. What are you trying to say?
Oh, I was going to say, if anybody smells peanut butter, it's probably Angie breeding.
Oh, okay.
Or you might be having a stroke.
Mm.
Oh, was that what that is?
Yeah. Terry McCullough says, for whatever reason, it seems like when you start looking into one thing, other things start revealing themselves.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to cover each other up.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we've tried to figure it out for years now, and it's like, are you being distracted? Are you being misled? It's just the trickster phenomena that, Valet and Keel both were talking about. I mean, it is. This is what they were talking about, but is that what it is? Is it really a trickster, or is that just how we are perceiving it? Maybe it's a blind. Maybe there's a reason for it to be blind, a blind.
Don K says, or is it the shapeshifter shifting into Bigfoot?
Right.
Again, it goes back to subject A and B. If you have something that's shape-shifting into a Bigfoot, you're back at subject B.
But you're going to ask the question, though, why is it doing that? And how does it even know what subject A is? That's where it gets really interesting. See? So, yeah, that would be subject B.
Pickle says, is it just me, or is it interesting that some bigwigs in the paranormal put rules on ghosts? For example, no orbs, no haunted dolls, etc. In my opinion, if there are ghosts, how can there be rules?
There are none.
There are no rules.
There are no rules. The boxes that people put around this stuff are there to make them feel comfortable. And
compartmentalize.
Yeah, it really hurts them when people do things like what we're doing and what others are doing. When we question the box, or what's outside the box, rather, when we question what the box is made of, or what surrounds that box, and then what surrounds that thing that surrounds the box. Well, you shouldn't ask those questions because we already know that this is where we live. I mean, okay, that's
inside a sphere.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
exactly. It's like, if you're content with that, that's wonderful. But don't say that what we're doing is irrelevant just because you don't want to know anymore, because there's plenty of people who do want to know more.
Yeah,
Right.
100%.
So this is for them. It's really not for you. That's what I'm getting at. And that's not a mean way of saying that. That's just a fact. This is logic. If it disturbs you, don't look at it. It's just that simple. Like, for example, when I was growing up, I didn't like horror movies. I wouldn't watch them. I would just divert my eyes. I would sit there and watch these with friends, but I wouldn't watch them. I would just divert my eyes over this way. I never said, I don't like this. I just diverted my eyes. I didn't watch it. Didn't hurt me. Didn't hurt them. We got along fine. We're still best friends to this day. So now I kind of like them, but not as much as I did. But, I hated them then. So, but now I go and chase things that are just equally horrifying, and it's not scary at all. So it's weird.
So Mothman 46 brings up the Chestnut Ridge has a history of the Bigfoot and UFO together.
They do.
And I did a deep analysis on this because when we started this is how subject A and B came about. Remember?
Yeah.
This is exactly where subject A and B came from, because when we had that weird phenomena take place, where we first recorded the radiation, and then we had some weird stuff happening after that, I had to start questioning everything. I had to start bringing things in, and I had to make it make sense, because up to that point I thought, Bigfoot, flesh and blood, that's it. That's all there is to it. And I kind of dismissed a lot of these Bigfoot UFO stories. And then, because I was familiar with Stan's work, right? But I was like, yeah, those are just really cool alien stories or whatever. Then I started dissecting them. I started to read the reports. I went directly to Stan, got all the information from the horse's mouth. And the descriptions of these Bigfoot-like creatures that were correlating with these UFO sightings weren't Bigfoot. It does not match up with your atypical Bigfoot description with Class A sightings. These things had arms that were almost at times down to their ankles, and they were skinny and gaunt, and the hair was sparse, and their eyes were glowing, and these things were hairy passengers of whatever these UFO that were coming to the Chestnut Ridge were. This is where subject B was formed. It was Bigfoot-like, and it's the reason we use the terminology. This is when we started saying we've got to change the lexicon because of these sightings, because of all this. This is what's causing the divide in the community, is everybody's trying to call Bigfoot the same thing that's happening with these UFO phenomena when they see these hairy things around orbs. It can't always be a Sasquatch, because if Sasquatch is flesh and blood, then what business does it have hopping off a UFO and carrying an orb, right?
Yep.
So A and B were created at that point. And we started putting all of the Bigfoot sighting reports that had high elements of high strangeness into subject B. All of the UFO reports, all of that, all subject B. High strangeness phenomena instantly into the B bucket. Then all of the typical boring, for lack of a better term, sighting reports of a physical flesh and blood creature, be it Bigfoot, black cat, whatever, subject A.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so that is my brief Campbell's condensed breakdown. In the past, if you go back and listen to some other episodes, you can hear further and see what you think of that information, and you can throw it out if you want, doesn't matter. But it's how we classify things, and that's the Chestnut Ridge and the history with UFOs is exactly why we had to start looking at things in a different way, or I had to start looking at things in a different way, because it started happening with us. We started experiencing this broader phenomena that was beyond just Bigfoot.
Dude, they are blowing it up over here. There's just so many things that popped up while you were doing that. So good luck keeping up.
I know, right? I was sitting here watching out of the corner of my eye, just watching the chat bar go up. Nikki Bennett said, "Sometime I do wonder if the deer are running across the road or running from something in the woods." Right?
Yeah. I mean, typically it depends. And you can kind of tell, can't you? I mean, we've all seen it. So you can kind of tell if they just kind of stop, probably not. But if they're freaking out and they're bolting out of the woods, there's a reason for that. Something's out there. I mean, who knows what?
Trackway said nothing is more annoying than when you're out looking for Bigfoot, EVPs, shadow folks, and UFOs just have to bother the crap out of you.
That's a good observation.
Donna says, like Men in Black show up sometimes after a UFO sighting.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I've never witnessed them, but yeah. I mean, that's a thing.
Pat referencing one of the greatest shows on earth where the rules are all made up and the points don't matter.
Yes.
Scott says, Nikki, I've heard several stories of hunters having deer come in and bed or stand right below the hunter before the hunter has the Bigfoot sighting. And I've heard several of those as well, Scott, and can confirm most of that data is pretty consistent among hunters who have had these sightings. Don says, someone messaged me saying what I see are demons. I said, well, they're pretty laid back demons then. Oh, man.
That's
Donna Ho said the Men in Black are there to distract or silence people. Maybe both.
Maybe both. We don't know what they are.
Both.
Yeah. We don't know what they are.
Pickle says, after my experiences, I don't want to know more. And that's common. Like you have one of two reactions.
Yeah.
After you've had an experience, you
Go
turn into one of us,
or away,
or it's like a magnet.
Mm-hmm.
You're either positive or negatively charged to whatever its charge is, and you know.
The biggest issue with that is what if it wants to experience you more than.
Pickle says, great form of conversation, by the way, guys. Hey, this is what it's like every Thursday. Tonight just happens to be a show about a show.
Yeah, it's more structured.
We're just a show pretended to be a show about another show.
Yeah, this is weird.
But no, it's this show's about Paranormal Horizons. If you haven't watched it, go over to Small Town Monsters YouTube, watch the 2 episodes that have been posted so far, and you'll be able to get caught up on all the stuff we're currently talking about.
Yeah. And any other time,
join us next Thursday night at 8
right.
p.m. for Wild and Weird Radio Live, and you will not be disappointed by that episode either.
Yeah, it's always fun. We actually have something coming up in the future. I'm working on it right now with our good friend Reverend Carter there. From you may know him from Ancient Aliens. He comes in every now and again. He's pretty much an honorary guest of the
He's
show.
an honorary guest host of Wild and Weird Radio.
Yeah, he is. He will be coming back here in a couple of weeks, and we're going to be doing a special experiencer program. And basically, we're going to just have it for everybody who's had an issue that wants to talk about it.
And basically, we will moderate it, and he will go.
Pretty much, we're all going to just sit around and have this this big talk. So, yeah, feel free to come in and join us for that. We'll get that up and advertise when we know more about it. But
Beat says that they agree. Pickle, these guys are the best. Well, thank you. We appreciate that. You are awesome as well. Then Pickle says, what's more frightening thought, ghosts or aliens? What about alien ghosts?
Neither.
I'm not going to sleep.
Neither.
I'm not going to sleep. No,
that's fine. I got the psionics right here next to me. I'll just point it towards the window and watch.
Ron did paranormal research
I've
for
had
ages
both,
alongside the out of body. And here we all are doing this stuff together now. It's not necessarily frightening. I don't think it's frightening. It's intriguing. What is the most uncomfortable though?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, I'm not that scared. I'm not going to just go over and leave my door unlocked for him or anything. But
I have a lot better time with ghosts and aliens than I do with people. So I mean, I'd rather,
understand, Adam.
Well, it's like my boss actually stopped at the gun shop today and was talking, and he was actually asking me about dogmen and stuff like that. And
neat.
So, and then we were talking about ghosts, and I was talking about how we do like EVP sessions. He's like, not supposed to talk to him. It's not good to talk to him. So I had to get him to explain why, and I guess
so.
It came from his
Who?
grandmother saying that it was
It's a good source.
just to leave them alone and or they might follow you home.
Trackway is apparently our new agent here.
Yeah.
I had an idea. I called it the Wild and Weird Initiative to handle problems that no one else could.
Yeah, maybe we need to like do that. That's what we need to do. We need to like an
Would you like to
A-team,
know more?
like an A-team type intro at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
It has that retro feel to it already. So, you put that,
B
that
team.
the B
B
team. Yeah. That's it. It's just subject A and B team.
All the wrong stuff.
That's it.
Oh man. Beat
Welcome.
said been to many forums, meets, etc. over many years. I'm an oldie. I like the science that is used with these young men. Well, thank you, Beat.
Wow.
We
Thank
you.
we appreciate that. Very, very much. We appreciate you. Hopefully, one day, hopefully we can run into each other out on the road somewhere, because we do go out to different venues up and down currently. If there's any venues that are out west that would love to invite us, we're totally open for those invitations. But so far we've been doing stuff up and down the Eastern Seaboard for years and going to conferences. I'd love to meet up with you sometime if we haven't already, because I'm just seeing Beats Airspace. I don't see your actual real name. I hope if we haven't met in person, I hope that one day we get the chance to.
Young in age, tired in body.
Then let's see. Donna said pickles,
Old and
aliens.
feet.
Aliens. That's the one that's more disturbing to Donna. Pickle says, I can see your point there, Donna. And then Pickle says ghosts are afterlife and aliens are
Question mark.
Good question.
But we don't know. We don't know, Pickles. That's the whole thing. We can quote what we've been told. Ghosts are, afterlife. Ghosts are spirits. We don't know what that really is. We don't know what consciousness is. We don't know how consciousness relates to a lot of this phenomena. And what's crazy, if you really get into the research of the whole non-human intelligence, aliens, call them what you will, you find that there is a line that flows that leads you right back to consciousness. It's really about consciousness, and whether that be called a soul, whether that be called energy, whatever, that's what we're dealing with. And that's what really fascinates me. That's what excites me to this thing. And that's what keeps me going with it, because we're not really talking about these well-defined things.
Dark Wolf. Ron, what do you think about the Indrid Cold case from Mineral Wells, West Virginia?
And it's one of the most underreported, important events in our state's history, and possibly in the United States, to be honest. Yeah, there he is. So the reason, yeah, that's what I think. I did those. What is important about it is it was one of the first contact cases, and it doesn't get any air. It doesn't get as much publicity. It got lumped in to the Mothman legend because of John Keel. That was one of the things that he did. And
he needed filler for the book, and that's historic accuracy. He just needed filler for the book, and it fit. It was around the same time frame. And
yeah, it's that it was a coincidental thing. It happened around the same time, so naturally it goes in. But I think it was so much more important. Did he see what he saw? Probably. There were other people who had similar sightings of the same type person, of the same almost exact scenario that came forward eventually and was telling the same things. But the thing about it to me is everyone discredits him because he wrote some of the other books where he talks about going to Lanulos and Carl Ardo, his friend, and I can't remember the other one, but they go and have a good old time on Lanulos, and they're thinking, well, that guy's just making this up. And I'm thinking, today we know that a lot of contactees, a lot of experiencers, abductees, call them whatever in the world you want to call them, come to us and they tell us these fantastic stories I don't doubt them for 1 minute that they experienced something, but I also don't doubt that whatever they're dealing with, this non-human intelligence, probably has the ability to put anything that it wants into your head and make you see whatever it wants you to see vividly. And we base that not just upon theory anymore, but that's been proven. We actually show that in our presentations about a year or so ago, that this technology does now exist, and it's powered by AI, and it can literally, for lack of a better word, read your mind, tell what you're thinking with the thought process. The hopes of the company who was doing this was to eventually make a mind machine interface. Interfaces work both ways. So we can project that technology into the future and see a culture at some point in the future would be able to do just that. And I could put anything I wanted in your head and it would be just as real as what you're experiencing right now. And you wouldn't know any different. So you wouldn't be lying if you came to me and said, I went to this planet and met all these people. It wouldn't be a lie. You believe it because you were really there. At least you thought you were.
So let's see. I'm going to jump down to this one here real quick and then go back up. Pickle says, great point about the afterlife, Ron. Then where's
I don't know. It's just data.
Then interesting take, top left. Can I see your guy's name? I'm trying to find where the name drop tab is, and
I believe it's under.
It's not showing up for me.
Let me find it. Hang on a second. I'll get it. I think it's where is it at?
It's under display names, but it's not showing up to pop our names into our frame. There we go.
There it is.
There it is.
So, then there we go, guys. That is our names. That is who we are. Ron and I are the usual hosts. We've got our guests here, Mr. Good and Larry Hose, with us, members of the West Virginia House Rangers Collective, better known as just the Collective. Then let's see. Pickles says, brings up a good one. Says, what's the best way to investigate? Using tools or the Mulder Scully flashlight? Use your senses way.
Yeah. Well, that flashlight method sure is interesting.
We use both. Historically, all the gear lives with Ron, and when we go out somewhere, Ron is normally packing it all on his tactical, what do we call it? His Batman-esque tool belt.
Yeah.
And
whatever it takes to get it all out in the field, right?
Yeah. And I have always been the barely a flashlight guy. Looking around, doing more forensic kind of look at it, sense it, intuition kind of base.
That's changing a little bit now, finally, thankfully.
Yeah. And it's been interesting.
We joke about it. We do joke about it.
I'm still finding it hard to get myself to use the tech gear because I just never run around with it. And it is something to have to adapt to. So it is good for data collection. The tools are very good and imperative for scientific measurable data collection. So it's nice having those there to corroborate what is being otherwise experienced. However, when it comes to collection of physical data, it is paramount to put your nose to the ground.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that one.
So it's a mix. It's a combination of both. Terry said, I think the paranormal is a construct of big tech to cause you to spend more money on more gear.
I mean, that's a possibility.
Yeah, through the years, we've filled up a few cases worth of gear, thanks to you folks and the merchandise we've moved, and it's definitely definitely a, if not a scheme, a perk for big tech.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, if big tech, any of you guys out there want, us to sponsor you, throw some gear this way, and we'll. Yeah, I mean, I don't care. I'm not above putting FLIR out there on the side of a,
I will tattoo your name on my butt cheek.
I won't.
Left or right?
I will not, because I know how this works. I've seen it happen before. No, I will not do that.
Scott somehow, I think when we were buried looking for stuff, Scott has summoned
Thank you, Scott. Thank you.
Freaking
Thank you, Scott. You're awesome, buddy.
Adam,
We
thank
appreciate
you,
you.
too.
nightmare fuel.
Yeah.
Scott is
welcome.
also in the latest episode of Paranormal Horizons. He's a member of the High Strangers Collective as well. He is an absolute asset. And if you guys are out in Kentucky, get a hold of Scott Holbrook. If you've had any kind of Bigfoot or paranormal experiences, get a hold of Scott Holbrook, because he is one of
He
the most
said-
thorough guys.
He
that we've
said
met.
that Scott is an absolute asset. Just
100%.
put that out there.
100%
It didn't
asset.
sound like that's what he said, but he did say that.
I talk fast sometimes.
Yeah.
Wasn't ass hat.
No,
okay, yeah.
sure wasn't.
Well,
Okay,
back
next.
to your ass, Joe.
Move on. Move on. Move on.
The tattoo can be
Rob's gonna
done
cut us off.
by
Don't do
Seth
this. Don't
Lamel.
do this. Don't do this.
Seth can tattoo whatever brand needs to be branded.
Don't do this.
Exactly.
So
Make a
Pat
nice
said,
felt too.
ghosts hurt you. If they can, what's the downside to being dead?
Well, okay. I mean, I got nothing. I got nothing from that. I can't.
Scott bringing back a Glenn
Nope.
Adkins thing. After
Nope.
seeing asking about
Nope.
my butthole shirt.
Nope. Nope.
Oh,
Y'all just have to
Story
go
you
goes.
guys who
No.
don't know, that is an inside joke between us and other members of the collective.
Go back.
And it's been on the show before, and it's freaking hilarious.
Go back to the episode that Glenn was on about a month ago, and you'll understand, and you'll either be glad you did that or not. It's one of the two. Probably not.
Beats says, "Come to Wichita, Kansas." I have been to Wichita, Kansas, but it was for work.
It's been a long time. It's about that way.
Yeah, I think 2017, 2016 was when I was in Kansas. Loved the area, by the way. Then Pickle said, during an investigation, have you come across any vagrants occupying the space?
Luckily not.
Not in a formal investigation. There was one time that this was a very concerning situation. I was by myself, and I was out on the back end of a rather large plot of land, and came across some stuff that had to be reported to the police, including the individual. And it was because it was on protected land. And it was on the back end of a wildlife management area. And that was sketchy. It was super sketchy. And the only reason I was back there, honestly, was because I was looking for tracks, and I was like, I wouldn't have been that deep into the area had I not been looking for something. But it wasn't on an actual official investigation. I was technically at work. Pat says, remember to keep commenting. Don't let Joe catch up, or he'll try to end the stream. Oh, man. Shar said, I wondered if Bigfoot hibernated. Someone has to have researched this. Yes, there has been a lot of research put into whether or not these things hibernate, and it is the consensus is the flesh and blood aspect of this thing, that they are active year round. They might have periods where they kind of sloth back some, but it's not a hibernation state. The sightings are year round, and it's just during points of activity. Then let's see. Pickle said, do you think the government has had any projects concerning ghosts like they did with aliens?
I mean, it's possible, right? We know what they did as far as the consciousness experiments that they did over the years with, remote viewing. McGonagall talks multiple times about how they were in contact with something. They didn't know what it was, Again, it could be the same thing. We don't know. We don't really know what constitutes as alien as far as what we're dealing with here. And I think that that's also one of the reasons that you're not getting a clear and concise anything from the powers that be on the whole alien front right now. They're up against something that they don't quite understand.
Next one up is Ike Faber. Ghosts capture our curiosity and keep the mystery of the unknown alive.
Yep.
Finding the Trackway says, I like the Wild and Weirders, where Ron is the tech man, Adam is Dr. Strangelove, Larry is Birdshot Eye, and Joe is the Mighty Sore.
Oh my gosh. Why do I feel there's some form of strange fan art that's going to come in the future?
Angie said, I never got my Sky Dolly for being unfairly imprisoned. You might, I ran it. You just might not have seen it. I'll
missed it.
Do it again. Yay. That almost makes up for the fact of what you did.
Banhammer.
Wow.
Then let's see. Dark Wolf said, Mom was related to that side of her family, I believe. Blows my mind that encounters may very well run in families. Thank you for the excellent feedback.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, data kind of shows that you are dealing with that. There is something that's running in families.
2026.
Adam, what are you doing?
What's he doing?
There you go.
To be read live on air. I repeat, Seth Lamille can tattoo whatever corporation logo needs to go on Joe's butt. We can make this happen. Oh, Adam, you're a mess.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Here you go, Adam, for you. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you all.
Pickles, what's scarier, Bigfoot or people? People.
Adam.
I'll answer that one for you
People.
right away. People. I would definitely people. I would much rather be in the woods and know that there's a Bigfoot than to know that there's someone over there.
That Adam's behind the trees waiting for you.
Worse than Adam's over there behind the tree waiting for you. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, here's a good one from Pickle.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Terminator 2 1993 versus what's happening now?
We
That's my thought.
predicted this about 4 years ago. 4 years ago, I think, at this point. We told everyone what was going to happen. Everyone thought we were nuts.
Yep.
And hey, congrats, here we are. And we're almost there now, by the way. The latest news, we didn't actually get to do the news tonight, but the latest news is that we are less than a year away from artificial general intelligence. Isn't that great? Isn't that awesome? That's awesome, right?
Team Big Rock.
Yeah, because with the release of ChatGPT-5, which is imminent, by the way, it is imminent at this point. It is coming. There was a moratorium for a couple of years, where they were supposed to work on security and safety issues and whatnot. But guess what? It's okay, because this thing can do so many good things for all humanity. It can help with, diagnosing this and diagnosing that and doing the work of hundreds and hundreds of people in, literally minutes, right? but that's before it destroys every single one of us.
When it
for
realizes that humans are the problem.
right, and this isn't
Oh,
science
we are
fiction.
the problem.
This isn't science fiction. That's the funny part. Everyone thinks, oh, that's the extreme. You're just too much sci-fi. No, it's not too much sci-fi. If this thing achieves artificial general intelligence, it will do one of two things. It will A, assert itself dominantly, or B, divorce itself completely of its creators. At which case, there's nothing to say that in the future it may not return and do exactly what the first option was. And is that where we're at right now? I find it amazing that the UAP phenomena literally began right as we started talking about artificial intelligence and how it made this massive leap. Coincidence? I don't know.
Pickle says, I really enjoy these cube cloud videos. Yeah, we make a bunch of them. Those are unlocked by our donors and people who support the show. Anytime someone gives any kind of monetary donation of pennies up to whatever limit YouTube will allow.
Those are blessings, is what those are. And it all started with the Sky Daddy. They yeah, Adam did it, and they grew from that, and they literally they're unlocked depending on how complicated they were to make. I make every single one by hand. It's not AI generated. It's me generated, RL generated. And what happens there is we'll make some really cool ones, and there's a number of that they have to hit for an unlock. So it's kind of like a game. So when they level up, we'll tell you there's going to be a new unlock tonight. People will just start throwing in, 5s, 10s. When it hits the magic number, whatever it is that helped us actually pay for it, because we use that money to actually buy the assets to help make these things.
Yeah.
That's what you get. So you get a little bit, and we get a little bit, and everybody's happy, makes everyone happy. It's blessings.
So Jen says, do you want to play a game?
Well, the only winning move is not to play, but it's too late for that, Jen. Wait, but we have a game that we can play.
You want to play a game? I would
Who's
like
ready?
to play a game.
Larry has been blocked by the letters, by the cards.
Look at that, Larry.
Scott says, I say we start a drinking game where every time the MIB say allegedly have to take a shot. Oh man, we will not have livers.
I want to tell you guys a funny story.
I haven't been drinking enough to try to play that game.
I'll tell you a funny story about that. I made the mistake one time to make a drinking game. And anyone who knows me knows I do not drink. It's not something I do. I'll have a celebratory drink when I'm in a very, 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 very good mood, and only when I'm in a very good mood. It's rules that I started years ago, and I still live by it. So I got the idea. I want to make a drinking game. It was just me and my wife and Ancient Aliens. And I made some rules of what you had to drink based upon what was said. And I had never watched, this was an Ancient Aliens rerun. I don't know what's going to be on. I had no clue. I didn't look ahead, anything like that. But I had a list of like, if they say this, then this. Well, do you know that I even put on it something about, well, of course, ancient astronaut theorists say that's one, right?
It has to be on there.
But I made the mistake on this particular one. I said something that I didn't think that they would ever say. And it was, I think, Eric Von Daniken who kept saying it. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. They played like, this was I don't know. I think we made it through 2 episodes. That's all I remember. It was a fun evening. That's all I can remember.
Pickles recognizes the symbols and says, Dr. Venkman's cards.
Dr. Venkman.
The Zinner tests. That is right. The Zinner cards.
That's right. These are the Zinner deck. And this is a little something we've been doing for a while now.
You know what else is something we've been doing for a while now?
What? Okay.
Thank you, Donna Ho. Thank you, Angie. You guys are absolutely amazing. We appreciate the crap out of both of you guys. Donna,
What's the magic number for another sky dolly?
Angie, we love you. I'm sorry for putting you in prison earlier.
That's hilarious.
Please accept my formal apology.
The magic number would be let me have some time to get some stuff done, and we'll make some really cool ones in the future. That's what I'm gonna answer that one.
All you need is music for another one.
What's that? No, I don't need music at all.
Yeah, I mean, like you got banned, you got clipped by Sony.
Yeah.
All right, guys, get those guesses in. Remember, this is a precognitive test. First symbol of these 5 that pop to your head, put it into the comments as your toss into the hat, and we will give you some time to do that. And then the card will be flipped, and we'll see if you're right and worthy of joining the Ghostbusters.
No, what?
I mean, Wild and Weird team.
Anyway, so this is the Zinner card test. For this is the standard disclaimer to explain this to people who've never seen it and think that we're doing some kind of weird evil ritual or some crazy nonsense that their belief systems have latched onto. This is right. This is a Zinner test, and this was created basically to test precognition or several other psychic abilities that a lot of people seem to have, right? So telekinesis, precognition, there's several different things that we can test, but we're going to be doing precognition right now, which means I'm not going to look at this. No one's going to look at this card. Not a single one of us is looking at this card. I don't know what this card is. What you're going to do is basically look at those symbols down there, and the first one comes to your mind. The very first one comes to your mind. That's what you type. Okay. You can snap your fingers. You can tap yourself. You can do whatever you want. But whatever the cue is, whatever you see when you do that, like I just saw a circle, for example. That's my guess.
All right, I think we've got about everybody.
We're good? Everybody ready? I'm going to flip this card. Let's see who's right. All right. What's yours, Adam? Did you get one? Did you put one in? Did you lock yours in? Everybody's locked in? Joe, you locked in?
Star for me.
Okay, here we go.
Bacon wins it. We've got 1 bacon.
Should have never gone against my real judgment on that one there.
We know Tony got that one.
We got 3 bacon. 4 bacon. Pickles, squiggly lines, it's bacon.
Bacon, yeah.
We've got Pat says demons.
No.
Tony says bacon. So we're having a good. This is number 9 bacon. Yes. Okay, that's all. We got 9 bacons.
9 bacons. That's impressive, guys.
Very good. Very good lead off. All right, we've got
9 hits.
More.
9 hits were good. That was great. It's awesome.
1 more go.
Let's do this.
Okay. So make that 10. I thought it was water. Wavy lines, bacon,
wavy
water.
lines.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yep, you got that one right too. So that is 10.
Okay. So don't anybody do anything. No one type anything. Stop. Gary, you already lost. No, you probably got it. Don't anyone do anything yet. So just wait. What I want you to do on this one, I want you to breathe in, relax, breathe out, count to 10, calm yourself down, snap your fingers. And when you snap your fingers, the very first one is what you type. Don't second guess yourself. This is the worst part. Everyone always second guesses themselves, and they're so right. That they should have had it. All right, go. Do your thing.
Pat said he needs Sky Daddy Rain to calm down. I'm going to run the Sky Daddy. You guys get your guesses in while the Sky Daddy Rain falls upon you.
This is the most bizarre show there has to be.
I need them all to say, all right, all right, all right, as they're flying
All
down.
right, all right, all
Got
right.
a feeling that we're going to drop by like 20 people tonight now.
It's
Be a lot cooler if you
if
did.
we drop by 20 people, we didn't need them.
They didn't get the jokes. They were never one of us. Okay.
One of us.
So are we ready?
Wait, on a couple
one
more.
of us. We will wobble.
Get them in, guys. Get them in.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
We got 5, 4,
Damn.
3, 2, 1. If they're not in now, forever hold your peace.
Star.
Flip it over.
Here we go. I'm going to say plus.
Star. Gary
Yay.
Schuler right out the gate was Star.
Over there.
I was actually on Star myself, so there's 2,
Me.
I called it out,
3,
but I didn't put it in the chat.
4,
Nowhere
5,
close. Nowhere close.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I've seen some people who got multiples here that got the last one.
We had 10. We had 10.
Check that out.
11.
Check
had
that
11.
out. Really
Yeah, that was
close.
a good one.
And a few of those people got the first one too. So
All right, let's do this one more round.
It's
One
impressive.
more round before we call it.
One more again.
One more again.
Y'all impressing us now.
One more round before we call it a night.
Okay, here we go.
And this one's got to be bacon.
Watch me now.
All right, guys, we're going to play you another thank you, okay? You guys have 21 seconds to get those guesses in. This is the third precognitive test, and all right, guys. Get them in there, get them in there, get them in there.
They're rolling in. They're rolling
Yep,
in.
they are rolling. I got the top one starred, so I know where we're starting.
Still rolling.
And
Still
circle.
rolling.
Got plus this time.
All right, we've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Squiggly lines.
Squiggly lines, bacon.
I mean, I did call it
Got
out before
one.
we even started.
We got 2. We got 3. We got 4, 5, 6.
Bacon dollies.
7. Pat's on a roll tonight.
Dang.
Yes.
Yeah, we
We
need
got
Dolly
7.
dressed
We're,
up in
we're
bacon.
swinging high numbers tonight. Nikki, I finally got one after weeks.
What's more impressive though is we've got people who have now got 3 in a row.
Yeah,
That's impressive.
very.
The odds are extremely high. You're not going to. That's impressive, especially
Yeah, it is.
considering this is a remote test.
This has been
Wow.
a very, very, very fun episode, guys.
Oh heck yeah!
Thank you all for everybody who's participated in tonight's conversation.
We win bacon. That's a
Who
good
brought your
question.
questions to the table.
Okay,
Do
so
we win bacon.
here's the
If you
thing.
come to one of the workshops,
Mm.
probably.
Yeah, probably. There's probably a good chance of bacon at one of the workshops. So listen, we are working behind the scenes right now on trying to get this a reality, make this a reality where you guys can get your own commemorative Wild and Weird deck of Zen cards. That's a real thing. So we're working on that behind the scenes right now, but I need to know how many of you guys would be interested in that. I don't know how much they are yet. I can't even tell you at this point because we're literally in the beginning stages of
Priceless.
this. I want to know if anyone's actually going to be willing enough to want this before we even go into trying to figure that part out.
I've
I'll
been
take 3.
shopping and it's obscene. I'm going to say that. Unless we get a really good number, it's obscene.
We know some people.
Thank God.
Uh-huh.
I've not known
Seth would buy
anybody that
those
made,
ticket cards.
like, glossy cards.
Seth would buy one.
So we got a lot of folks in the
So
chat.
it
who
looks
really
like it's
like-
possible. So we'll look into it. Right now, we're doing some other
Yeah,
things. So
look
this
into it.
isn't something that's going to happen anytime immediate, but it is something that we will definitely look at this point. Now they will be a little bit smaller than this. This is not your standard, standard size. An actual Xener card deck's actually bigger than this, but they'll probably be about, playing card size, trading card size, something like that. That's what we're looking at. So don't know, like I said, as far as pricing goes on them or anything. If we can't get them down to an affordable price, then absolutely we won't do it. An affordable price, in my opinion, I know what I paid for this deck, and so I think about $25 is a fair price. If we can get them down to that, I'll be happy with that. So if that's the case, we're going to shoot for it. So, $25, $30, something like that. Because they will be very,
I'll buy 4 then.
it's a small run. It will not be ever done again. It'll be done this one time, and that's it. It'll also be just for you guys. It's not going to be something that is made for mass market or no.
Right.
No. It's just for these guys. So yeah, if that happens, like I said, we'll definitely be on it and get back with you. Joe, where are we going to be next? What's going on? Let these
Well, we
people
got some stuff
know.
rolling up upon us here. That's what I was getting ready to run down. Actually, we've got, this is our future lineup. We're past August 2nd. Coming up, we have the Flatwoods MonsterCon September 14th. We've got the Mothman's Festival September 21st, 22nd. Thunder in the Mountains Powwow October 12th and 13th. Encrypted Con is going to be happening in November of 22 through the 24th. That is going to be a great time, guys. If you get a chance, please do come out and see us. But we've got one more thing to share with you guys about this lineup. And that is that we will be presenting an unprecedented event, a very special presentation at the Mothman Festival on Sunday from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. We have a 2-hour slot where we are going to be doing equipment demonstrations, data reveals, exclusive first looks, Q&A, and a lot more. There is a lot getting packed into this. This is going to be in recent history at minimum. This is the longest presentation that has ever occurred at the Mothman Festival, aside from like a movie. So you guys, please come out. If you're going to be at the Mothman Festival, definitely come check it out. Room will be limited. It is in a bigger facility than it has been the past 2 years. There will be a lot more seating, but it is still going to be a limited capacity. The last time we spoke at the Mothman Museum, we had a full house and a crowd outside listening in. So definitely make sure you're there on Sunday. Go up to the room where they're going to be waiting before noon, because we will be starting promptly at noon.
There will be a line
running to 2 p.m. This is a 2-hour presentation, workshop, data reveal, exclusive first looks. You don't want to miss it because it is going to be absolutely nuts.
There was a line the last time. Expect the line. So to kind of get there early is what we're trying to tell you. But yeah, it's going to be a blast, and we're going to be showing some cool stuff. You'll learn some cool stuff. We're going to talk about equipment, how it works, etc., all that stuff. And we're going to show some maybe some sneak peeks of some stuff that's coming up, possibly, probably.
Yep.
Nice.
Never know.
Yeah. So it's going to be a blast, but be there Saturday too, because we have a really special treat for everyone who
Oh yes.
drops by the Wild and Weird table. We are
Oh, yes.
we're blasting ourselves off to Alienville, and you guys are going to come along for the ride. Whoever's
You
there,
have no idea
it's
how
going to be
fun this is
wild
going to
and
be,
weird
everybody.
and fun. So you don't want to miss it. Trust me, it's going to be one for the
Mothman
books.
46 said, "Are you guys going to record it for us less fortunate, those that won't be able to make it to the Mothman
Okay,
Fest?"
so sometimes we record stuff and it's abridged. I'm probably sound like a jerk to some people, but this is just how it is. A lot of places don't record their presentations because other
Yep.
people take their ideas literally and run with them and claim them as their
And
own.
especially where we're going to be doing reveals of future stuff.
So we can't do that this time. Now, will it show up in like 2 years? Yeah, possibly. It could something like that.
Because we will record it. It will be recorded.
Yeah.
It's just the releasing of that material will have to be
After.
in a pace to where we've released public stuff at a broad scale.
Right. Which should possibly be next year if all goes well. That's so 46 chances are you'll get to see it at least in some context of it at least next year.
G-Ball asked, how about Zoomcasts? Unfortunately, if you've ever been to Point Pleasant when there are 45,000 people in it, internet and phone systems take a massive dump.
We are lucky.
We tried. We have tried that before, and it does not play ball.
You can go back and watch the one from a couple of months ago when Adam tried to do it from there. We tried to do it, and it was terrible. And that was just with like, a small amount. That was their was it 4th of July thing they were doing, right?
4th of July. There was maybe maybe 700-800 people.
Yeah. And
so
it was already
it looked like the camera was from 1998. You know?
Yeah. It did. It was bad. It did. We could have used a Ring door cam and probably got a better shot, to be honest with you.
So guys, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. You are all awesome. We appreciate each and every one of you all the questions you asked, everything that you've participated in tonight. You're all amazing. Hope to catch you guys back again next week here at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Yes,
that's what you were talking about with Adam. We tried a random live, and it was like watching Mario.
Yeah. Now those could happen at any time, so you definitely want to make sure that you are subscribed to this channel. Just to let you know, we do random lives from time to time. So stay up to date with stuff. Go ahead, Joe.
So guys, thank you so much. Thank you for being a part of the show. Thank you for coming out and supporting Wild and Weird Radio. Thank you to all the folks who were donors tonight, all the super chatters who jumped in. Julie Bug, welcome to the executive producer status. You are awesome. Thank you so much. And remember, when you're out walking through the woods, if you're just minding your own business and you see a whippoorwill, apparently no you didn't. Stay wild and weird, everybody.